Are we live? Is this thing on? You bet your booty we're live, and we are so back right now. We are back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. We are simultaneously streaming on X right now. So if you guys are watching us over on the X side, feel free to hop on in and tune in. Before we go into the introductions of my good friends, before we talk about anything, I really want to, since the holiday season's here, I really want to talk about a campaign I've been part of the last couple of years, and it's really important. Wrote a little bit of a speech here, so just humor me here, guys. God bless you and appreciate you. So let's talk about a cause that's near and dear to my heart. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This may not be the biggest platform, but the Lord did give me a platform. And what kind of man would I be if I didn't use this platform for good and to give back? Every holiday season, there are millions of families struggling to keep food on the table, let alone having enough money or food to have a nice Christmas meal with their loved ones. 4 years ago, my good friend Chris Lalonde, local police officer and the president of the North Gloucester Giants football organization, this is the team I grew up playing for and I also coached for, started the Christmas Miracle campaign. This campaign's goal and mission is to feed 100 families locally a Christmas dinner. We've hit that goal and then some every single year, and we're looking to do it again this year. I've seen the faces of these people when we deliver the meals, and it will really warm up your heart. Like you can only imagine how important this is to you. And it's important to me because once upon a time, my family personally benefited from similar campaigns. We did struggle financially for a good portion. So tonight I ask you to open up your hearts and your wallets and be a blessing to somebody's life. Click the Rally Up link in the description, in the YouTube description. Make a contribution, and literally anything and everything helps. God bless you, and thank you guys for your moment there. And yeah, man, it's very important to give back, especially during the holiday season. And then I'll just pull this up just so you guys know, this is a real thing. The link is 100% in our YouTube description. If you're watching us on X, come on over to YouTube. Big Draft Energy on YouTube, and thank you guys for that. Now, with that being said, guys, now that that's done and out of the way, let's get my co-hosts, my expert fantasy football panel, to introduce themselves. Pete, we'll start with you. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? And as long as you'll freaking love me, buddy.
Part of the FF Faceoff. You can find us on YouTube as well there. And you can find me on Twitter at Supernova38 with 2 R's. So yeah, happy to be here. Do some content. Usually defensive streamers is what I've been best at this year. Do some betting as well. And ready to get cracking.
Awesome. Sleez, my co-host with the most. Introduce yourself to the folks, brother.
Cheers up, everybody. Bimageddon week is here. Sleezball FF. You can find me across every single platform. My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. Glad to be a part of the show. Glad that you did a little shout out right there. I'll be donating in there as well. Get your wallets out, guys. Throw some donations in. And let's get it cracking here. I'm ready to win some money, man.
God bless you. All right, folks. So we're going to let you guys know exactly what we're doing. All right. We are going to go over every single game on the Sunday slate. We're going to talk to you guys about our favorite start sits, our favorite tertiary plays, some sleeper plays, our favorite pay-up options, our fades, you name it. And we're also going to build a couple drafters tickets. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to build the tickets at the end of the show so we can make sure that we talk about everything and build the ultimate locks. So hopefully we can cash. And if we do cash any of these big tickets, which we are aiming to 100x our dollars, I'm going to donate 100% of the proceeds to this campaign as well. Okay, so let's catch up with the chat, and then we'll get into our first game. Andrew says, first, hope all of you out there are enjoying the start of the holiday season. God bless you, brother. No better way to enjoy the holiday season than to give back and contribute. Speaking giving back and contribute, Sleaze, I appreciate the 5 gifted memberships, brother. Thank you. Dustin Stone says, let's go. Bobby Bengal says, got y'all popped up in the background. Hope my friends are doing well. God bless you, brother. We are doing good.
Oh, my God. Bengal.
A name from heaven. I love this guy. He was the most important part of our 24-hour live stream where we raised money for hospice care. Shout out to James Saw. If you're not following him, James_SEO on X, Fix Your Life. He really is a brilliant fantasy football mind and just a better person. Carl Saul says, what's good, Saul? Good to see you. What's good, boys? Hello, Bones. I'm already starting Downs. Would you stack AR or roll with May? I'm definitely stacking AR, especially with Terrion Arnold not playing this week. I love the Downs play. I love Pittman and definitely love Anthony Richardson, but we'll get to that game. D-Money. Adrian, Knifey Spoony says, yo, Adrian. Good to see you, brother. All right, let's start with game one. You guys ready? Who wants to go first? We are, where the, I have not.
Cowboys, Redskins, Commanders, Vikings, Bears.
Sorry, I forgot where I had the banners. All right, here we go. Sleaze, you'll go first. We got the Dallas Cowboys. They're 10.5-point dogs coming into Washington at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The over-under is 45.0. I don't think the spread's enough. What you got for this game, brother?
So my absolute lock for this game, and I know it's going to sound different. I know that Austin Eckler smashed his entire receiving yards last game, but that game script tended for them being down, so it tended for him to get more receiving yards. The Dallas Cowboys struggle versus the run mightily. 23.5 rushing yards seems like an absolute lock. One of my favorite bets of the week because I think the Commanders are just going to run him over here. And another one I'm interested in is Luke Shoemaker, seeing 10 targets for the Cowboys last week. You got Jake Ferguson out. You know CeeDee Lamb's going to draw most of the coverage, even with Lattimore being hurt as well. I still think Shoemaker, just based on the volume they're going to have to pass, because you know the Cowboys aren't running the ball anytime soon for the rest of the year. So you're probably going to see 30-plus, 40 attempts for the Cowboys probably every single game. And when I'm looking at 28.5 yards, I mean, he crushed that in one drive last week. So I think those are my two locks that I would stick with in this game.
I like it. I like it a lot. I really do like it. All right. Pete, you're up, buddy. What you like about this game? And before you go, I wanted to say this is not Dan NFL DFS picks. Shout out to Dan NFL DFS picks. He's usually our third here, but Pete has humbly tried to step into his shoes. They are very, very big shoes to fill, but Dan just got a new house, dream house. So he's got, dream house things to do. Shout out to Dan.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Dan. Happy to jump in here and fill in and do my best. I know those are some big shoes to fill, but my camera is falling as I am talking to you. There we go. Now I got blurry from that. That was not good. There we go. So I guess my question, Sleaze, did you take, when you said the rushing yards, did you take Brian Robinson? Or were you just taking
Austin Eckler at 23? I like Brian Robinson too, but he's high at 74. That's a little risky.
Yeah, I mean, so he's at 73.5, right? I mean, I'll take B-Rob here at that line. To me,
okay.
Cowboys giving up 111 yards on the ground. And, Brian Robinson, like, it's not that he hasn't been doing much lately, but I just feel like they've been trying to spare him with the knee. The reports, have seemed pretty good. I don't have any concern with that. So I feel like they're going to try to give him more touches and probably save Jaden Daniels from running around. And if they're up, that there's no better way to target this defense. So I like Brian Robinson's rushing total at the 73.5. I like the Shoemaker call. I don't really feel comfortable taking. I do like Cooper Rush to throw an interception. I don't know if I see that here. You guys are probably a little bit better on drafters than I am. Do you see, is there a line for him to throw an interception? No.
If there's a what?
If there was a line for him to throw an interception, because I definitely would have liked to take that if it was there. But
drafters is relatively smart. They're not going to give us free props.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just be Rob for me. I don't want to press anything because this could be a shootout. I mean, a blowout, but I like the Shoemaker call as well.
I like.
What about Siebert? I like Siebert 7.5 too. I've got to throw that in there.
The kicker.
Yeah, he blasted. He averages like 11 points a game.
Can I ask you a question, though, Sleaze? With I pretty much, when I think about this game script and the way the game is going to go, I pretty much think that it's going to be touchdowns or touchdowns. Like Washington is 100% going to score a touchdown pretty much every time they have the ball, and they're going to control the time of possession, and it's going to be 80-20. I don't anticipate he's going to finish a lot with field goals, and 8 touchdowns is pretty significant, especially since a kicker point is only or an extra point is only 1. With that being said, my favorite props, if we're talking about production, is I still think CeeDee Lamb 21.5 longest reception is an absolute lock each and every single week. I don't care who's throwing him the football. It could even be Daniel Jones. Doesn't matter. I think that's an absolute lock. He's way too good of a football player for that. And if we're talking about large production and where, the Dallas Cowboys generally struggle. And that's against the deep ball to the wide receiver. And Trayvon Diggs is not playing this week. Deron Bland's been out forever. So like the Terry McLaurin 24.5 longest reception, that's an absolute lock to me too. So I'm taking both wide receiver ones to have an absolute splash play. The longest reception, longest rush has been my jam forever, and it'll continue to do so. All right, we got a lot of chat, so let's catch up with the chat before we go into the next game. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about this game?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna throw in there, Pete, go ahead. I was just gonna say, if you're gonna say if it's 80-20 and you think the game script's gonna be that bad, then I have to say that there's no way that Rico Dowdle is gonna hit 55 yards rushing.
Yeah, I think that's a spectacular take. But if we're looking at the last 2 weeks and the last 4 weeks, the Washington Commanders have been giving up a significant amount of fantasy points and usage.
Those are tough games where they're down, though.
They're
down heavy.
So the last 4 weeks, they've been averaging about 284 yards per game. The last 2 weeks, it's been even more, 148. Sorry, it's been even more at a whopping 160. So they are hemorrhaging and fantasy points. They're giving up a lot of fantasy point production. I think Rico Dowdle has to be involved in that offense. I do like the take that the under will be significant, but I mean, Dallas is also going to try to control the time of possession as well. So it's not a prop I love. Like Rico Dowdle, obviously you have to start him this week. He could be a sneaky smash play if he breaks big, and we'll see how that goes. But there's also no Marshawn Lattimore again this week. Let's catch up. Pete, do you have anything else for this game?
I was just going to say, I mean, I think Terry's line is pretty low, 58.5. I mean, I like the longest reception. 58.5 seems low. I worry about stacking the receiving players, especially on Washington, but 58.5, he got shut out completely last week. They have an extra time. It's a mini bye. I feel like they'll probably find a way to get him involved more. So I like the 58.5 as well, but I wouldn't add it, but it's just something that I wouldn't mind adding. I could be swayed into taking that as well.
You can get that one play against this defense.
All right. Bing King says, what's your order? Fish fillet? Damn Skippy. George Troyon. And by the way, thank you, George, for the $9.99 super. When you guys donate supers, your chat gets bumped, or your question in your chat gets
absolutely
George. Very, very top. So thank you for doing that, man. It means a lot. And appreciate the contribution. RB2, pick one. Estime, Roshan, Abdullah, or Ty Chandler. I think Estime is due for a bounce back game in a very advantageous matchup against a very terrible Las Vegas Raiders defense. Obviously, last week we said the same thing, and we got, because fantasy football will do fantasy football things, you know what I mean? We got absolutely bamboozled by a Javonte Williams productive day. Now everybody's starting Javonte Williams. So I'm rolling with Estime. He's got the clearest role, clearest production. DeAndre Swift is good to go in a very tough running matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. Abdullah is not even a thought for me. And Ty Chandler, Cam Akers is ahead of him. So I think it's Estime a lot.
You should be picking up Cam Akers over Ty anyways.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Pete? You're the Broncos guy.
I actually kind of like Abdullah. Estime scares me because this is kind of a revenge game for Javonte. He tore his ACL in Vegas, and Sean Payton's one of those guys where he tends to kind of, if a player is playing against a former team or something, if there's something to it, he makes it a point to get him. So I feel like honestly, I like Abdullah. No Zamir White, most likely. No Alexander Madison. I know people like Dylan Mawab, but I think Abdullah is probably good for like 4 or 5 catches and maybe 10 points. I could be swayed on Roshan, but Vikings have one of the highest stuff rates in the NFL. So I don't really want to start Roshan either. But I'd be between Estime and Abdullah for me.
Heard.
I just think there's no way that the Las Vegas Raiders, with their season over, lean on a 31-year-old running back, Abdullah. I just don't believe it.
But who else do they have? They're going to rely on Labe.
They might as well see what they have in Labe. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't bad in New Hampshire.
I think Labe is going to get some looks. I just think Abdullah is just a guy that just somehow sticks around and finds his way to get the ball.
I just don't trust the Raiders at all. I'm not starting any Raiders anyways.
Ideally, I wouldn't either.
It's Brock Bowers or nothing for me there.
Yeah, I like Brock Bowers. Obviously, also like Cortland Sutton. And I don't like Jacoby Myers at all this week. All right. Adrian says, agreed on the spread, man. The over under. If Washington gets away, we'll slowly salt this game. Yeah, I'm not touching the over under. Obviously, the money line is way too significant to touch it.
I think Cowboys covered.
Well, you think Cowboys cover 10.5? Interesting. I was going to say I think Washington covers, but hey, hey boys, says Andrew N. Fantasy Football Propaganda says Eckler and the Shoon Man are great. I'm with you on Eckler, but here's the thing, man. Eckler's production mostly in the pass game last week, running for 9 yards. That was
bad game script though.
Yeah, but I hear you. I see where you're coming from. I think.
I mean, look at his first 3 games before that are close. He had 52, 42, 44, and this game they're ahead.
Yeah, but also there was no Brian Robinson at that time.
Right. I get that.
So the game script was definitely skewed heavily in his favor. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 158 people watching, 16 on YouTube. I'm grateful for everybody watching on X and everybody on YouTube. If you guys really want to help this channel grow and, really help us out a lot, and this is going to be the only time I mention it, please come on over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. It would mean the world to me. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe, costs you nothing. It takes 2 seconds to like, costs you nothing, would mean the world to me, guys. Thank you. Hussein Conundrums, what's up? Guys, should I start Javonte Williams or Romeo Doubs? I think Javonte has a clearer role, but Romeo Doubs has a better matchup. What do you guys think?
I think Javonte Williams' matchup is great.
Yeah.
Romeo Doubs, I don't trust the Packers receiving core, how it goes.
Yeah, Dobbs has been great, but I don't know. This game's going to be weird with if the 49ers show up, will they throw the ball? Would they might. This might be a Josh Jacobs heavy game. So that kind of worries me. I prefer Javonte.
Yep. Oh, safe call. I'll agree with the guys. Bing King with the dab. I like that. In my flex full PPR. Thank you. Javonte for me, says Andrew N. Great fundraiser, boys. Stoked to support. I'll be listening in 2 hands.
Is it just me that's lagging or everybody?
He's on the road right now fighting snow in Calgary. He's got like a foot of snow that he's dealing with. So shout out to Adrian, aka Knifey Spoonie. And once again, guys, if you guys do want to donate to help over 100 families have a Christmas dinner, the link is in the description. God bless you and thank you. My opponent started QB May. Do I start Pop Douglas or Christian Watson in the flex? Thank you guys. You guys are great. I do like Christian Watson a lot this week in the flex. Pop Douglas, not so much. But I will also say, don't try to outsmart yourself, man. Just play your studs and stick with the studs, because especially with the week 12 bye, you're going to need your studs to get by. All right. So don't think yourself. Daniels will go nuke. Yeah, Daniels is my QB2 on the week. Washington to win cover. Okay. Estimate's line is 33 yards. We'll get to that game for sure. I like that line a lot. I'm going Ertz over 30.5, over 30 yards. I love this chat. I love this community. You guys are absolutely brilliant. Broncos have been pretty good matchup for RB. Bucky or Ridley, and Hopkins or Dell. Pete, how about you take this one?
Yeah, it's Bucky for me. I like Bucky this week a lot. Matchup's good against the Giants, and they're coming off a bye, so I think they might try to find ways to get him involved. And then between Hopkins and Dell, I love Hopkins. He's going to be one of my guys when we get to that game. I expect a bounce back from him against a pretty poor secondary. So I would go Hopkins.
Heard. Sleaze?
You know where I'm going.
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley, 17.5 points per game since DeAndre Hopkins is gone. The 4th highest targeted wide receiver, number 1 in deep targets, 2 touchdowns. Get this guy out to the Detroit Lions struggle versus the wide receiver. They don't give up touchdowns, but they give up hella yards.
Heard. I'm going Bucky and Hopkins. I feel like I'm playing a home game here. Shit. Labe has 100% fumble rate currently. Right. RB.
Oh, yeah. 1 carry, 1 fumble.
All right. George, who also gave a super chat, says pick 2, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Debo, Juan Jennings, Jaden Reed. Thanks. I'm going Debo and Jaden Reed.
Me too.
Agreed.
Okay.
Everybody's on this Debo shit. He's gonna pop and everyone's gonna be pissed.
Well, like he's going to need to be utilized a little bit more in the run game and get more volume in the run game, which is why I like him a little bit more.
Screens.
It gives him a safer floor with Brock Purdy being out, so I like that a lot. Who will have more TDs at the end of the season, Knicks or Daniels? I'm still going with Daniels, but Bo Nix has been absolutely spectacular as well. Can't really knock that. Think. Need one full PPR. Ship Fool says need one full PPR. Tank Dell, Chuba, or Quentin Johnston. Thank you guys. I'm leaning Quentin Johnston here.
Quentin
Honestly,
Johnston.
like I hate Chuba's matchup, and Tank Dell's got an okay matchup, but like with Nico Collins being back, I can't really project him to be a smash play. Quentin Johnston is in the best situation a wide receiver could be against a team that is the most advantageous matchup when it comes to receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, and receptions at the wide receiver position. So absolutely love Quentin
when
Johnston.
Russell Wilson plays.
Yeah,
Except for when Russell, yeah, but like somebody said it last week, and I didn't listen, and I should have. When those two teams play in a divisional matchup, you just throw out all rhyme or reason and statistical analysis out the window because they're going to play actual like real smash mouth football, which is great to see. I see where your point is, Disco. Yeah. Eckler Strange. Like I don't think it's as much of a lock as people like to make it seem to be. I try to find the outliers in particular, and like there's no consistency there unless it's a complete blowout game script where both running backs are going to have to just chew the clock. It's tough, but I think the longest reception that thing smashes pretty much any and all the time. And there's still no Marshawn Lattimore, so that's why I love that. Dustin Sohn, what a name! I like that name a lot. Some guys playing neighbors and downs at wide receiver, Dobbins and Gibbs at RB, looking for a flex. Debo, Quentin Johnston, Pollard, or Watson. Thanks, guys. Pete, you then we'll go Sleaze.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm not starting Pollard. I think the Texans are gonna smash them in the mouth a little bit. I just don't think the ceiling's there. It's really between Debo and Quentin Johnston. I like Christian Watson. He's been heating up. I guess I'd go Debo, but I could be swayed on QJ just because of the matchup. But I think they're going to manufacture touches for Debo, and they need to rely on guys like him and McCaffrey this week. So
I respect it. Sleaze?
I agree. First of all, shout out to Dustin. Shout out to George. Thank you guys for coming over, man. They're always in my streams as well. Showing love over here means the world, guys. Support everyone that's part of the family. Is what the fantasy community is. It's amazing. I'm going Debo here as well. I think they're going to manufacture so many screens for him in this game. And he's had 2 bad games. And I've seen Brandon Allen. He's not hitting a deep ball, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears is likely out this week. He's going to get 80% of the volume. The run game's going to be there. The explosive aspect is also going to be there. I'm leaning Tony Pollard. I like the volume and the explosive aspect. And I also like him to score an anytime touchdown. So I'm definitely going a little bit different than you guys. My only take is that Jennings is a home run guy for now that the team depends on if you need a smash play. Also, it's Purdy's not starting. He's out this week. Jennings or Sutton and Nix or Herbert. Okay, so we'll answer this question, go to the next game, and then answer all the other questions after we cover the next game. So Carson Native says Jennings or Sutton. I'm going Sutton here. Easy. And Nix or Herbert, I'm going Herbert. All right, next game. You guys good?
Yep.
All right, we got the Detroit Lions, who are 7.5 point favorites versus the Indianapolis Colts. The over-under is 50, and the game's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I will say this: if I'm looking at the props right away, what stands out to me, because we did allude to this earlier, Terrion Arnold is out, and he's the number 1 corner that the Detroit Lions have. In case you guys don't know. So with that being said, Josh Downs' longest reception and his receiving yards are both in play. Currently, his longest reception, here, I'll just pull this up, is at 21.5 yards, and his receiving yards
is out too, by the way.
Who?
Yep.
Anzalone, linebacker.
Yeah. And 55.5 receiving yards for Josh Downs. I love the over on both of those. The Lions are one of the top 3 most advantageous matchups on a weekly basis against the wide receiver position. And Downs and Pittman, both of their longest receptions are absolute locks for me. And if we're talking about the Detroit Lions side, I think my favorite props are obviously David Montgomery's rushing yards, but I also like the 11.5 longest reception for Jahmyr Gibbs. Like he's averaging like 55 yards per reception at this point, or what it seems like. It's crazy. It's so insane. Like when this
man in space.
I like his longest rush and longest reception every single week. I try to stagger them in every single prop that I do moving forward. So those are my 2 to 3 absolute locks. Sleaze, you're up first this time, and then we'll go with you, Pete, to bring us home on this one.
Absolute. This is one of my absolute locks. Like, this is my favorite prop of the week right here is Anthony Richardson's passing yards at 208.5. Comes out last week, drops 272. You have both corners down. I think their nickel is also banged up on IR as well. So they're going to be running third and fourth string corners in this game. You're going to have to keep up with the Lions offense. And I think Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman saw 8 targets last week. I think he's going to feed a ton of them because it's tough to run against the Lions. When they're weak in their secondary, their front seven's good. So I'm staying away from any rushing yards for JT, anything like that. I love all the passing yards for the Colts. So Anthony Richardson at 208, I've already got tons of props with that. I love Amon-Ra at 74 yards as well. I think he's going to absolutely crush the secondary of the Colts. They're very bad versus the wide receiver. And they're bad versus everything, man. They're like your pot of gold fantasy football. And I agree on Downs longest. I wish they had Michael Pittman's receptions. I would take that. And I'm really high on Sam Laporta this week. I think Sam Laporta is going to smash 35 yards. I think he's going to smash every one of these props, 3.5 and 16.5.
Yeah, I have him as a top 5 tight end this week on his week comeback. And I like as the original Laporta supporter. I'm here for that. Great call. Pete, what you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, I like Jake Bates. His in terms of his total points at 7.5. He's hit this number in since week 7. He's hit that line every single week except week 9 against Green Bay. But I expect them to score points on the Colts, and I expect them to kick a lot of kicks, whether it's field goals, extra points. I expect them to be involved. So I like him. And I'm with you on Josh Downs. He's probably one of my favorite plays this week. I mean, Downs, if you look at his game logs, 84, 72, 60, 109 in the last 4 weeks. I love his receiving yards. And he has a connection with Anthony Richardson. I don't love his receptions as much because he's more like with Richardson, he's been more of a big play guy. So I like his longest reception too. 4.5. I could definitely see him doing it, but I'd probably stay away from that. And I prefer the longest reception and the yards.
I like all 3.
Yeah, I do agree with Pete. The receptions is a little bit volatile, especially because we haven't even mentioned the Alec Pierce aspect as well. All right, let's catch up. Let's catch up with the chat. Great stuff, fellas. Great stuff. All right, Fantasy Football Propaganda says the script steered me there. Love the longest for scary. Yeah, man, it's a great prop. B Dog says pick 2 this week: Jonathan Taylor, Marvin Harrison Jr., Debo, Reed, PPR. I can't sit Jonathan Taylor, especially on Mageddon, and I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. because the matchup's absolutely delicious against the Seattle Seahawks. Do you guys have anything different?
Mm-hmm. I know JT's in for a tough matchup, but you can't sit Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
Riding JT.
He just saw 27 touches last week, even though it was terrible. That's too hard to ignore.
And thank you for coming by, B-Dog, and bringing your question. Hopefully our answer absolutely smashes. What were you going to say there, Pete?
I was just going to say, I'm more on the Marv and the JT. I like Marv's matchup this week. He matches up well, big corners, and people like Marv has kind of been disappointing in a way. But he's been through a gauntlet. Yeah, he's been through a gauntlet of defenses, and they're getting. And I said this before, but they're getting a bye. They're coming off of a bye. A lot of times, it's a lot of self scouting and a lot of internal looks. And I feel like they might look at it and say, "Hey, how can we find ways to get him the ball easier than we have?" So.
Yeah, great points. Excellent points. Andrew, and with an actual question, he says Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnston in PPR. I'm going Quentin Johnston. It's an absolute no-brainer. Do you guys have anything different?
Yeah, I hate. I'm so off Jordan Addison. I didn't draft him anywhere, and I have him in one league that I traded for him in a big trade. But I hate Jordan Addison, man. I don't hate him. I just don't like how they're utilizing him at all.
I'll like Jordan Addison more next season when Aaron Rodgers becomes a Minnesota Viking.
I got 1 point to throw out. Is Rayshawn Jenkins going to make it out for this game for Seattle?
Don't know. I think he's
not.
A true
That will really help. He's a good safety they have.
I think he's a true game time decision, if I'm not mistaken. Jerry Bagshaw says, do I bench Scary Terry or Neighbors for Downs? I would bench Neighbors, and if I'm going to bench anybody for Downs, so let's say it this way: if I'm going to bench anybody for Josh Downs, it would be Neighbors because there's a new quarterback situation there. Yes, we've seen Tommy DeVito play in the past for the New York Football Giants. He says, "Hey, I'm throwing the ball over here." But we haven't seen him with Malik Neighbors. So with that being said, due to the volatility and the uncertainty, the only person I would sit for Downs would be Neighbors, but I'm also not sitting Neighbors. I hope that answers your question. Tommy Cutlets, I'm throwing the ball over here. That hurts the throat. Big King says, which AFC QB will slightly overperform expectations this week? What a question! What a question! Drake me. You know what? Drake May is such a Pats fan answer. I'm gonna retract that statement. I'm gonna pull back that statement. So you say Anthony Richardson, Sleaze? Why?
I love everything about the game. Last week he was my smash play. He's my smash play again. Detroit Lions are banged up everywhere on defense, man, except for the front seven. Well, I guess Anzalone being out hurt some, but I think Anthony Richardson's back for the show here.
I'm going to say Justin Herbert. He's got
QB1 that's too easy.
He's got QB1 upside this week. All right. So if that's too easy, give me a minute. Let's just look at all the other games. AFC. Like Tua, I think he's going to have a decent game, but like that's too. CJ Stroud, I think CJ Stroud's going to over exceed expectations against.
Oh, Will Levis, baby.
You like Will Levis?
Yeah, I do.
I even think Gardner Minshew is due for a pretty decent game as well. Honestly, even though he throws a heck of a lot of turnovers, they're going to need to throw the ball a heck of a lot to keep up with, especially when Denver's time of possession is just going to be controlled. It really is like it could be anyone, and I think every quarterback in the AFC has a pretty decent matchup, except for Gardner Minshew, but I still think he could over exceed it. But yeah, I'm sticking with the Justin Herbert because fuck you. All right, you guys ready for game 3?
Yeah.
All right, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We really do appreciate you guys. Smash the like button, smash the sub if you have, and if you are one of the 233 viewers on X, please hop on over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. God bless you and I appreciate you. All right, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 11-point underdogs, coming off of their first loss to the Buffalo Bills and the Mustard Bukaki Mafia. They're coming into Carolina. The over-under is 43 points. I will say this, Travis Kelce has a very advantageous matchup. It's one of the most advantageous matchups on the week. Same with Jatavian Sanders. I like both of them a heck of a lot in their spot this week. Chuba Hubbard, unfortunately, is a must-sit because Kansas City doesn't really allow a lot of fantasy points to opposing running backs unless your name is Jimbo Cook. And I think Xavier Legette is a smash start this week. I really do like him a lot, and I think Kansas City covers the spread. Kareem Hunt also a smash start. So yeah, Pete, you're up first.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt, 77.5 rushing yards. I dig that. Chuba Hubbard, 52.5 rushing yards. I'm gonna actually go under there. I think he'll be utilized in the pass game, and I think he's gonna be okay for fantasy. But it's not even really the Jonathan Brooks thing. It's just this KC defense is really good against the run, and I just don't like it. And then honestly, I think a sneaky play would be the under on Carson Steele, 11.5 rushing yards too. They're barely utilizing him at all. So
well, he's in our
last time we fucking did that, he hit in one play.
I'll tell you this. I mean, he hasn't had 10 yards since week 7 where he had 17. And last week he had 1 attempt, 2, 3, 2, and 6 in week 7, which was against San Fran. Yeah. So I just against this soft defense, I don't think they're going to have to use Carson Steele. The only thing that worries me is a blowout. If they are blowing him out,
and then maybe he gets more looks.
Steele gets some more looks. But
that's what I'm afraid of.
I honestly wouldn't. I also wouldn't hate the under on Mahomes' rushing and passing yards at 255.5 because I think they're going to run the ball a lot. But I guess my favorite play would be the under on Chuba's rushing yards and the over on DeAndre Hopkins at 40.5.
I like it. Sleaze.
Get your cards out. Here's the 3-piece lock. I love this game. It is going to be Chuba under the rushing. I agree with you 100% there. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the run. They don't even allow his prop on the season. I believe they're like 51 yards, right?
53.
They allow 52.2. So, yeah, right at where he's at. So, I'm not taking that with Jonathan Brooks back out there. I think that's an absolute lock. The number one, tertiary play here that everyone's missing on this game is Jatavian Sanders at 20 yards.
I started by saying Jatavian Sanders.
Oh, I missed that. The Chiefs give up the most yards to the tight end on the season, like 77 yards or something. I'm going to pull it up. 74.3 yards. They have him at 20. I think that's an absolute smash. And the other one I like is Kareem Hunt. You already covered that, 77.5. I think he's going to rumble over that easy. Carolina's 32nd versus the running back in every fucking category there is in football.
I like it. So what I'm looking here, I think Justin Watson over his longest reception is super doable, but it's not a lock. So my two locks are Xavier Legette over longest reception or his receiving yards. 32.5 is very nice, and wide receivers have eaten in the past against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I say this is no exception. So 32.5 receiving yards is as free as it fucking gets, and then the 32.5 receiving yards for Xavier Worthy is also an absolute lock, and they're right next to each other, smashed over on both. I really do like both of their props, and I think Xavier Worthy is a wide receiver 2, fringe wide receiver 3, definitely a great flex play, especially during Buymageddon. Really do like him a heck of a lot. So those are my locks there. Let's catch up with the chat and then go to the next game. You guys good with that, or is there anything else that you guys wanted to add on this?
You like his 32 over Thielen's 26?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Thielen, I'm not betting on.
Chiefs struggle versus slot heavily.
Yeah, but Legette lines up everywhere.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
All right. So Knifey says neighbors might be hurt and a new QB, no data for sure. Gay over 1.5 field goals made, has made 2 or more field goals in 8 straight games. Not a bad call.
That's a tough matchup. They're gonna have to keep up with the Lions. I don't like that.
Hey, Andrew, did you want to hop on the show? Are you free, buddy? Like, I will gladly send you the fucking invitation, Andrew. You are a beautiful human being. I generally do love you more than a lot of people. Traded Andre, what's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a minute. Traded my backup QB Baker for DJ Moore, wide receiver. Win or loss, my receivers are Amon-Ra, Nico. Flex options are now Jaden Reed and more. That's a W in my opinion.
Yeah, that's good. We talked about that.
Yeah, that's a W. Panthers on a winning streak and Chiefs on a losing streak. We shading them. Kidding, obviously, for sure. You better be kidding. Yeah, I can join in. Okay, I'll send you the invite as soon as we as soon as we introduce the next game. And
I didn't want to talk about this game, bro. I think it's gonna be ugly.
Well, you beat me to the. I like this game a lot. So next we got the Minnesota Vikings, who are 3.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears. The over/under is 39.5. We'll say right away, I love Roma Dunze in this matchup. I like the over on all of his props currently. His receiving props, let's see if it went up. His receiving props is at 3.5 receptions, 45.5 receiving yards, and 19.5 yards for his longest reception. I like the over on all of them. He's been averaging 6 targets the last 3 games, and Keenan Allen's coming into the game banged up. And then I also like Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is in a smash start this week, and I think he's in a really good spot. We started with Pete last time, so Sleaze will start with you, and I'm going to send
Wait. Why is Aaron Jones in a good spot here? That would be my first question.
All right, so if we're looking at the running backs, I
know it's the Bears' weak spot, but they're not that weak versus the run.
So the
Aaron Jones has been playing.
So during the last 4 weeks, you asked me a question, so allow me to hold on. So in case you guys don't know, we get to call each other out. So when you guys hear this,
hold up, what did you just say? I'm gonna need you to stand on business.
There we go. So if we're talking about the last 4 weeks, if the last 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are the 6th most advantageous matchup when it comes to fantasy points for opposing running backs is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have been allowing 25.75 fantasy points to opposing running backs, and 2 of those teams that they're ranked behind are also on bye. So it's the 4th most advantageous matchup in the week. That's why I like Aaron Jones here. It's a smash start. I'm not looking at the season long. I'm looking at the last 4 weeks because it's a completely new season, if you ask me, right? So if we're just looking at that, the last 4 weeks, it's a smash spot. They're giving up production in the receiving aspect. They're giving up production when it comes to rushing touchdowns. And you kind of don't want to really pass on the Chicago Bears a heck of a lot. I think Justin Jefferson is going to have another bad game. I think he's still going to see 12 fantasy points right along where he's been averaging, but I think he's going to have a bad game. Does that answer your question? Do I stand on business?
I mean, he's only playing 50% of the snaps. He's banged up. He's turning 30.
Yeah, but he had
every game he's in and out. I don't trust this guy for shit. I'm not betting on anything Aaron Jones ever.
All right. Clip it.
Clip it.
All right, you're up.
Oh, from the game? Oh, to this game. I don't really like a lot from this game. I think it's going to be a cold, ugly game. I think the Vikings are going to get after Caleb Williams. I think the Bears defense is very good. It's going to be rough for Sam Darnold. So, I mean, both these defenses, it looks like the Vikings are going to give up tons of pass yards, which they do. But you have a new OC in town. I know they hung with the Green Bay Packers last week. Should have won the game. You're going to have Jalen Johnson on Justin Jefferson, probably 56% of the time. I do agree on Rome Odunze's receptions. He's seeing a massive volume, especially with Keenan a little banged up, but he's going to play. And TJ Hawkinson's still not playing enough snaps. I'm not touching the kickers. I mean, if I had to pick anything, and this is like the game I avoided, I would probably go for the only thing I really like in this game besides Rome Odunze's receptions would be Justin Jefferson's longest.
I like it. I like it a lot. What's his longest currently at?
25.5.
All right.
That's good, Andrew.
What?
Hey,
So
how you doing?
you have the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us, Andrew. Introduce yourself. Let the folks know who you are, where you're from, where you contribute, and as long as you fucking love me.
All right. I'm Andrew Nordmeyer. I'm originally from Chicago, but living outside of Phoenix. I am the host of the Cardinals Uncovered podcast, part of the Undroppables platform. When we're definitely just actually got a episode out yesterday, looking ahead to the Week 12 matchup against Seattle, which we'll break down later. And we're talking about Chicago and Minnesota. The one that stands out for me as a prop wager, I want to go under 46.5 yards on DJ Moore. Even with the changes, I just don't really see him getting off the ground. And in 6 of the last 7 games, he's been under 35 yards. It's just not happening.
OC came in, he looked good. Right? He saw like the 70 last week, right? Or 62.
Yeah, 62 last week, but before that it was 22, 105, which is an outlier, 20, 27, 33, and 24, with roughly the same amount of targets.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just a good matchup for him. I don't know. That's kind of rough for me.
I'd be more inclined to take the under on his longest reception based off of where we've seen the targets come from with the new offensive coordinator. They're all like bubble screens and just like really dinky routes. I don't see the longest happening for him, but I'm also not betting on it. But Andrew, please continue.
Yeah, and if you're talking about the under with the longest completion, I mean, he's been right around 16, 17 yards each of the last 3 games. So that's why I'm kind of shying away from that one. But I tend to bet more of the over or under on total yardage. And I also, as you guys get to know me a little bit better, I tend to go for quarterback completions. Has also been a bread and butter spot for me over the course of the season.
Okay, and Caleb, you like the over on Caleb's completions or Darnold's?
Let me take a look at what the numbers are here. So I just jumped in.
So right now, Darnold is at 19.5 completions. Caleb's at 20.5 completions.
I got to pull some stats here, and I will let you know in just a second.
Sure. Just before Pete goes, to add to Andrew's resume, he also almost committed murder virtually from, I want to say, like 1,000 miles away via gushers. So dude's an assassin. All right, Pete, you're up.
This is one of my favorite props on the week. It's DeAndre Swift under 54.5 rushing yards. Per Datarama on Twitter, and he got it from Fantasy Points. The stuff rate for DeAndre Swift, he's the highest stuffed running back in the NFL, and the Vikings have the highest stuff rate in the NFL. I think Roschon Johnson feels a little bit. He's getting more involved. So I like the 45 at 54.5 on the under there. And then I also like the interception prop for Caleb Williams at 0.5. I'll take the over on that. And I flirted with the Sam Darnold interceptions as well. And I'm comfortable to say I'll take the over. So I would take the over on both quarterbacks to throw an interception and the under on Swift.
I like it. Andrew, do you have the completions numbers yet?
Working on them right now. As a matter of fact, I will let you know in just a second here. Just looking up one more thing with Sam Darnold, which one I want. But, I mean, Caleb Williams goes back and forth. He'll have a game where he has 22 or 23, and the next week it's like 10 or 16. There's no real consistency to what he's got here. So that one I'm not really thrilled with a whole lot. I'm still looking up Sam Darnold here real quick. I'll let you know on that in just a second.
You're good. I'm just going to catch up with the chat real quick. Shout out to NFL DFS Picks. He's usually our co-host on these Saturday shows, but as we alluded to, he's been killing his DFS and his NFL picks. So he has his dream home that he's moving into. So shout out to you, brother. And I appreciate you becoming a member and gifting a membership, guys. It only costs $1.99 Canadian to either gift or become a member for the Disco Ball Nation. Means a heck of a lot if you guys do so. Helps the channel out a heck of a lot. We currently have 256 people viewing simultaneously on both X and YouTube. That is the most I've ever had by a long shot. So thank you guys. But if you guys are watching us on X, please hop on over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. Costs you nothing. And get to know us and get to be part of the community. Fantasy Football Propaganda says, I took Jones over his yards and his attempts. Yeah, I like that call on both. Currently, Aaron Jones' rushing yards is at 58.5 rushing yards. I wouldn't call it a lock, but I do like that prop. I think the only lock I have for this game is Roma Dunze's anything. Knifey Spoony says, I'm here for any under prop on the Chicago Bears. You're a Giants fan. Why you hate the Bears so much? Make it make sense, sir. Speaking of Giants fans, fuck. Say Giants fan one time and Hot Take City shows up. Good to see you, Hot Take City. Welcome to the El
Freedom.
Channel. Freedom for Daniel Jones or for the New York Giants. I'm going to say for Daniel Jones. Dude deserves better. And since Hot Take City did join, we got to play this.
What's up? What's up?
And you say, what's that, dog? And Updog shows up and he says, it's Caleb Week. I like the call. Shout out to Updog. If you guys don't know, he is best ball legend. Okay, best ball legend. One of the best, if not the best ball guy on the planet. He's finished second in one of the toughest best ball tournaments now twice. So he really knows that he knows his stuff. If he's in on Caleb this week, I'm in on Caleb as well. But Updog, remember that conversation we had during the 24-hour stream at I think it was 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. where I was like, I'm avoiding all Dallas Cowboys. All of them are going to suck. And I think Dak Prescott gets hurt. Fucking weird, eh? Fucking weird how things. It's so weird. It's so weird. And that was August 24th, 25th. Don't hate him, but
you were just having post-assassination attempt clarity. That's all it was.
Yeah, pretty much. You tried to assassinate me at 2 a.m. Eastern time. Don't hate him, but hater bets have been all I've hit this year on the Bears are locked so often. Heard. I'm free of bad QB play. No, man, it's only going to get worse. Updog, vegan hot dogs. What's up? Yep, he remembers exactly. It's such a weird call. Super eerie that we hit that. All right, let's go to the next game. I'm going to give myself the big screen here. We got my New England Patriots, who are 7-point dogs, coming in against the Miami Dolphins. The over-under is 46. This game is also kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I will say this, right? Last time these two teams faced off, it was a nail-biter and a close game, but there was no Tua Tagovailoa. The one outlier I saw is that Christian Gonzalez was very good against Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle had 8 targets. So I think Jalen Waddle is in a smash start position against the New England Patriots. They are the third most advantageous matchup on the week when it comes to wide receivers. And his prop being at 39.5 receiving yards or 18.5 longest reception is an absolute lock. And I also like Kayshon Bouttie's 33.5 receiving yards as well this week. Devon Achane, he should smash his matchup. It's a very advantageous matchup. 66.5 rushing yards, love that. 15.5 longest rush, also love that. And I also love his over 0.5 interceptions thrown for Tua Tagovailoa. Let's go with Pete next, and then we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, this is a coming out party for the Dolphins, I think, this week. They're back in Miami. This is a team that plays well at home in the warm weather. And I mean, since Tua when Tua's on the field, Achane has been successful. He's caught 5 or more passes in 5 of the 6 games with Tua. So give me the receptions. I don't care if the Patriots are good at limiting running backs to it. This is an outlier running back, and I think he definitely hits the over on 4.5. I also like his longest reception at 14.5. I think that's kind of sneaky because just that breakout ability that he has. I'm on Tyreek Hill as well. Love Tyreek Hill this week. I think he gets it going. I'm a little skittish on Jalen Waddle. The line is really nice. I mean, 39.5 is really freaking low. And I expect all of these weapons to pop this week, to be honest, against a pretty bad secondary. So, I would go over on Hill, his receptions as well. Hill doesn't have receptions listed here, but I like him at 64.5. I like Achane over 4.5. And I like A-Chain's longest reception as well. I'm going to stay away from Waddle. It's nothing against him. I have to see it before I can start him. I think they're going to blow up this week. I think they're going to have a really good week, but I got to see it with him before I put any coin on him.
I mean, even during Buy-Mageddon?
Yes, I mean,
you gotta play him. It's this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a bad spot, yeah. If we're talking betting, I just don't want to put any coin on him. But yeah, I mean, he's a fine start as if he's a flex. If he's your wide receiver too, I wouldn't be too excited this week.
Oh, I love him as a wide receiver too. I have him as my 21st wide receiver on the week.
Hey, I mean, the matchup's there. It's nothing against him. It's just he just disappears too much. I don't get it.
I'm also putting some cash on him for anytime touchdown and first touchdown. Sleaze, you're up.
It is the Devon Hurricane A-Chain season. He's going to explode against this terrible New England Patriots run defense. It doesn't matter what the prop is. The only one I really don't like is probably his 4.5 receptions because I don't think they're going to need to use it that much, even though I know he's a receiving psycho. But I do agree with Pete as well. I like Tyreek Hill's longest. I like him to finally have his big ball pop in this game as well here too. And Jalen Waddle at 39 does look just like you have to bet it, but I'm going to agree with Pete twice, man. Fuck, I don't trust Jalen Waddle for anything right now. The other prop that I absolutely love is Hunter Henry's receiving yards. The Miami Dolphins are struggling versus the tight end. They give up 51 yards a game. And when you're looking at Hunter Henry, I don't even think of him as the tight end. He's their wide receiver one. He's their most targeted guy. He's a security blanket. I think that's an absolute lock for him. And I think we're forgetting this is Jonnu Smith's revenge game.
I was waiting for the Jonnu Smith
39.5 yards. He's going to eat that up. So those are my 4 favorite right there. I also like Sanders. Last time Jason Sanders played the Patriots, he dropped 11. I like the 7.5. I think the Dolphins offense is going to fly in this game.
I like both kicker points for what it's worth in this game because these two teams are going to play a well-contested matchup. I also like the Patriots to cover the spread. And I was waiting for somebody to talk about, the New England Patriots revenge game with Jonnu Smith. Andrew, you're up. Great breakdown there, Sleaze.
I was going to talk about Jonnu Smith, and somebody just stole my thunder from out there in Fresno. Dang it.
No worries, brother. Hang on. I got to take this phone call. I'll be back.
That's fine. While you're doing that and stealing more of my other ideas here, I'm going to like the idea of Drake May over 20.5 completions in this game because even though they've played some lower scoring games, in 2 of the last 3 games, Drake May has had 29 completions. And I mean, even that credit game against Jacksonville, he still had 26 completions. So he's definitely getting the ball out. He's not really throwing a whole lot of interceptions. He had a couple the last 2 weeks, but I can really see the completions piling up. Now, who they go to, I'm not 100% certain, but I think the completions are there, and that's the one I'm going to go with in this game that nobody else has mentioned yet.
Well, so my usual favorite prop for Drake May is not available because it's hit every time Drake May started a football game, and that's his longest rush. Usually it's at like 12.5, 11.5 yards. But Drafters has smartened up and they got rid of that prop, and I'm kind of devastated. But just so you guys know, we are making our pick'ems here and also doing our DFS lineups here on Drafters Fantasy exclusively. If you hit 8 props, which is what we're going to do at the end of the stream, you get to 100 extra dollar rooskies, and your first bet is on me, as you guys see here at the bottom on the scrolling ticker. If you use promo code DISCO, we will double your initial deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 rooskies. So yeah, your first bet's on me. If you deposit 25 using promo code DISCO, you'll have 50 to use on the app, so on and so forth. All right, all the way up to 100. Let's go to the next game, guys. Great breakdowns, great analysis, and I love how this show is moving. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 6-point favorites, with Mike Evans returning to the lineup. At what capacity, we don't know. Coming against the New York Football Giants, the over-under is 41 points. Game kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And, Daniel Jones is no longer the quarterback. He lost, that scene on Friday, like how you lose your job on your day off. Like during the bye week, he got fired. He lost his job. They made him play. He went from starting quarterback to QB3 to cornerback / free safety. Is a very weird last couple of days. He made a big goodbye statement. He clears waivers on Monday. I think Vegas should pick him up. But with that being said, I think Bucky Irving and Tyrone Tracy are smash starts. I think Malik Neighbors, I'm a little bit concerned for. I love Baker Mayfield. I think Mike Evans, if you have him, you got to play him. And I think Kate Otton's in a smash position. I will also put out there that this is a great matchup for Theo Johnson, and his props are a little bit low. But I like Rachaad White's receiving yards props at 21.5 receiving yards. And I like Tyrone Tracy's rushing yards at 62.5 rushing yards. Those are my two locks for the game.
What was your first one?
My first one was Rachaad White's receiving yards at 21.5 receiving yards.
Yep.
I do love Bucky Irving, and I do love Rachaad White. They're both smash starts for me this week. But Rachaad White, like, you have to look at the fact that he's been getting 10 to 15 touches with the vacancy of Mike Evans. Now that Mike Evans is back, we're probably going to see less volume coming his way. So do play him with caution. But yeah, Bucky Irving is an absolute smash start, and 51.5 rushing yards is probably the greatest lock of the entire week for Bucky Irving. All right, Andrew, we'll start with you next, buddy. What you got for us on this game?
All right, the one I'm looking at here, Baker Mayfield, who has probably been the best 8th-round pick in the history of Scott Fishbowl, which, by the way, I'm 18-4 playoff team and outscored everybody else out of the other 48 teams at Vegas Live this year.
Come and get it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in the lead for that ring, man. You know I want that thing.
I do too.
So I'm going with my guy Baker over 21.5 completions. Mike Evans is back. And even without him, you got to keep in mind the Bucs have still been putting up the points. Even though they've lost their last 4 games, they've scored 20, 24, 26, and 31 points. And San Francisco a little bit tighter on defense, but the rest of the time, Baker's had 23, 37, 31, 24 completions. It's like the ball's flying all over the yard with him, throwing it up sometimes 45, 50 times a game. So I really like Baker's completions to go over that number of 21.5. And if I want to go the other direction and actually pick a giant for some reason because I hate myself, give me Devin Singletary under 21.5. It's Tyrone Tracy's backfield, and Devin Singletary has not broken 15 yards in the last 5 consecutive games. Wait, I'm sorry. That was his longest run. I was reading the wrong.
The stream just crashed, but I think the stream's still up. Let me see.
Yeah.
No, we're still live.
Yeah,
we're still. It shows a little delay that we're in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, never mind that about Devin Singletary because I read the wrong column on that. So I'm just going to stick with that one there with Baker's completions. And with the way the retooled Giants offense is going to look, I really want to avoid it altogether. So
I invite you back in, though, if that's what you're wondering.
I
hear you. All right. Well, we can't switch the screen, so you got the live big screen. Andrew, take it down. Pete, go ahead, brother.
I mean, it feels too obvious and easy to say it, but yeah, I'm taking Mike Evans' yards and longest reception. I mean, they're 4-6. This is a team that does not have Chris Godwin anymore. And this is a Giant secondary that's just not very good. And Baker is going to make it a point to get his guy the ball. And Mike Evans is also going for another 1,000-yard season. I know to some it may not think it matters, but the season's coming close to an end. They're going to try to make sure he gets there. And so I love his longest reception. I like his yards. I think his longest reception's 22.5. His yards are 54.5, which is just too low in any game. Like in the games that he's gotten volume in this year, he's gone over. The games that he hasn't hit 54.5, he's had 2 or 3 catches. I don't see him having under 4 or 5 receptions this week. So I like Mike Evans, and then I like Bucky Irving too. I know Disco talked about it, and yeah, I like Bucky Irving's 51.5 rushing yards this week as well.
I agree with that 100%. Well, way to make it easy for me. Took the 2 that I absolutely like. I like Bucky's rushing 100%. Did the Giants give up 120, putting his line at 50? I think is the freest fucking bet of the week. I agree with Disco there. I even like Rachaad White at 37.5. I think they're going to be up heavy and they're going to pound him. They're going to pound the run between both these guys. They average, about 12 points a pop. That is with Godwin gone. It could be a little, I'll say a slight different with Evans back. I expect them to feed Evans like a psychopath in this game. I think Evans, you nailed that, Pete. I think he's going to see 10 plus targets in this game. I called out yesterday on my stream that I think he's going to hit 1,000 yards with the schedule they have left, and they're going to force him to get 11 straight if he can stay healthy, of course. And an interesting one to me is I think Chase McLaughlin 7.5 or 1.5 field goals. I like both of those. I think they're going to smash the Giants in this game, and they give up a lot of field goals. And Theo Johnson, what he brought up at the beginning was very interesting to me because Theo Johnson's starting to see 6-7 targets a game, and Tampa really struggles with tight end. So I like his prop at 20 yards as well.
Sorry about that. The Matrix took me away, but we fought tooth and nail. Morpheus gave us some sort of pills, and we're back. Thank you guys for holding it down. I was listening in the entire time. Sleaze, did you finish your point there, or
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, guys. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for holding it down there. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next game. Before that, we'll look at any chats. Jake says, hey, I can only bench one. Evans, Neighbors, CD, or Puka. I would go with Neighbors here for sure. Out of all those names, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna break the bank. You guys go.
Pete?
Yeah. I mean, it's Neighbors for me. I love Evans this week. Look, CeeDee Lamb, I get it. It's Cooper Rush, but like he has gotten peppered. I took CeeDee Lamb's. I laddered his receptions last week, and he needed one more to completely sweep it. He's going to get peppered with targets. Now the yards and getting a touchdown is the biggest concern there. But Puka is you can't bench Puka ever. I know I know the matchup. You know, I get it.
That's where I'm going.
But
Quinyon Mitchell is coming.
It's got to be Neighbors, man. I don't trust Tommy DeVito. I need to see it first. So,
do you remember what Terry McLaurin did last week? I don't.
Yeah, but Cliff Kingsbury is not Sean McVay, and Cliff Kingsbury leaves Terry on an island. You know, think about how many times we see Puka jet sweep motion, catches it almost like goes 2 yards upfield and catches like almost like a screen. Like they move him around so much, and that's the one issue I have with Cliff is that he just that offense is so stagnant.
They don't motion at all. They're the least motion offense. It's terrible.
Yeah. And Terry, they pretty much leave Terry on an island by himself.
So to add to your points, like one, name the last top 15 passing offense that Philadelphia shut down. Pretty much Quinyon Mitchell has shut down, pretty shitty passing offenses in his defense. I think they're in for a rude awakening. This offense,
he had a slow start. He's picking up, man.
For sure.
I think it's a tough.
We also had a very
look at CeeDee Lamb the game before.
Yeah, but who was throwing the football?
Dak Prescott in the first half. He held him to 3 catches and 30
yards.
yards.
Dak Prescott has not put up significant yardage against anybody.
No, Dak wasn't.
Oh, never mind. That was the game one. Sorry, that's right.
So they've done it against nobody significant, and against really good teams, these guys have put up significant amount of yards. And when we're talking about Sean McVay and his offense, just to tail off of what Pete was saying, no team motions more pre-snap than these guys. So they're going to read what coverage there
what about
is.
BTJ versus Quinyon the game before that? 6 points?
Who was throwing on the ball?
Mac fucking
Trevor Lawrence?
No.
It was Mac
Trevor
Jones.
Lawrence was out there in that game?
No, he wasn't.
It was Mac Jones.
No, it was Mac Jones.
Let me see.
The last real quarterback they played was Joe Burrow 3 weeks ago.
Trevor Lawrence played week 9 against Philly. Get off me. What are you guys saying?
Okay, so is Trevor Lawrence?
BTJ got locked the fuck
that
up.
Offense a top? Is that offense
Crack
a top?
a beer, get it going. Let's go.
Back to my point. Is that offense a top 15 or 16 offense?
No, but I'm just saying.
So they've done it against nobody significant.
Trevor Lawrence is not a bad quarterback. No.
Yeah, but they've done it against no team that's significant. That offense, once again, is not a top 16 offense. They haven't done it against any other team. So Philadelphia, yes, their defense has been balling. Yes, Quinyon Mitchell should be a candidate for rookie defensive player of the year. But this is a different fucking animal and a different beast, right? Matthew Stafford with the volume that he's going to have to deliver.
Neighbors in week 7 had 8 points for Quinyon Mitchell.
I'm
just killing it right now. What do you want?
And is it a top 16 offense? You keep going back to the same point.
Yeah, but I can show you matchups where a guy's a bad quarterback against a good corner and they ball out.
I bet you Puka's going to smash way better than fucking Malik Neighbors this week. We got more chats that we got to catch up. Hot Take City's trolling says Pats lose by 21.
Checking the numbers, they're right. You can look them
up. I'm here to cause chaos like Sleezball and his
Hold on, wait, just 1 second. I'm sorry. Jamar Chase had 9 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's not good.
9 catches for 54.
Jamar Chase. I want Jamar Chase with 150 no matter what.
9. That's over 20 points in fantasy.
Yeah, he's Jamar Chase. Yeah,
and Puka's pretty damn good.
Puka is not on Jamar Chase's level. Get out of here with that.
Not, but come on.
Yeah,
Terry's not. I don't even think I love Terry. I'd still take Puka on my team over Terry.
I'm just saying he went Terry McLaurin, BTJ, Neighbors, and Chase was the only one that ate on him in 4 straight, 1 out of 5. You got to give him some credit, bro.
Yeah, but the only team that was a top 10, top 15, top 16 offense was the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, you have to look up at the matchups, and if you're going to ignore that, then you are due for a lot of disappointment this week, especially for the fantasy advice that you're giving by saying sit Puka or over Malik Neighbors.
I said I'm going to break the bank.
Oh, fuck that.
That's my bold call. Puka's in for a nightmare game.
I wonder who Hot Take was referring to when he says because he sucks fucking monkey dick.
For real though, if you do look since week 6, they've played. They really haven't played any good offenses outside of Washington last week and Cincinnati. Tampa Bay kicked their teeth in.
Yeah. It's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people.
And a lot of injury did too, by the way. I'll be right back. I'm getting another beer.
All right. Neighbors for 100 yards. Tommy Cutlets will prove you wrong.
Tommy Cutlets going to ball out this week, baby.
Yeah.
Get it going.
Took Young Buck already. He's going to eat. Yeah, he's in for a smash start. All right. I love when we get passionate about this. Also, we have 301 viewers. What in the fuck is going on? The vast
I showed up and all of a sudden the viewership just went poof.
It's you. It's you. It's all you. 285 people on X. Thank you guys on X from the bottom of my heart. 16 beautiful people on YouTube. Guys, switch on over to YouTube. It would help us so much if you guys came over to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. Would mean the world to us. So let's talk about the next game. We got the Tennessee Titans, who are 7.5-point dogs, coming into Houston. Game is at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The over-under is 40.5. I will say this. With Tajay Spears being out, and I alluded to this earlier, I do like Tony Pollard in a spot. I'm anticipating that he's going to get 80% of the snaps. I don't think McNichols is going to take too much work from him. Is it it's somebody else. 57.5 rushing yards here on Drafters Fantasy seems absolutely free. I absolutely love this, and I also need to share the screen again because my internet crashed. It's crazy that the stream stayed up. Yeah. Tony Pollard over 57.5 rushing yards, I think is an absolute smash of a proper Reno. And then I also really like Nico Collins over his 78.5 receiving yards. And I also really like Tank Dell over his 20.5 longest reception. And I'm looking for Will Levis' rushing yards. Longest rush, 10.5 rushing yards is something I would absolutely consider because this is the 5th most advantageous matchup on the week for rushing quarterbacks. The Houston Texans give up quite a bit of production to rushing quarterbacks. Not the Russian quarterbacks, but the Russian quarterbacks. All right, Sleaze, since you are on the Will Levis and Calvin Ridley train, we'll let you go first here, buddy.
All right. So when you're looking at this game, Houston Texans right now, let me look over. I just want to get it right to make sure.
Sorry, before that. Yes, Chef, correct. Julius Chestnut is the guy I was referring to. McNichols is the guy on Washington. My bad.
No worries. 210 passing yards. They're giving up a game. Will Levis is, and I love the 214 pass plus rush as an absolute smash. So Will Levis in his past 2 games against the Chargers defense, which is the top 5 defense, against Minnesota, who's very bad versus pass, but good versus the run, he's been averaging 270 right now. So 230 passing plus 30 yards rushing a game, 214. I think that's an absolute lock for his pass plus rush. I think Tony Pollard's in for a nightmare rushing game, even though he's going to get the full workload. And I love Calvin Ridley over 58.5, obviously, or 4.5 receptions. I think he's just smashed both those. He's been seeing 7.5 catches a game, I think, right now over the past 3. Let me pull this up to make sure. I don't have my tweet up that I posted all the stats on. 15 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets, 6 targets, 15, 20, 24. He's averaging about 7 catches a game over the past 4. So in this matchup, they're going to have to pass. They're not going to be able to run. So I like that. Nico Collins, I don't want to touch. I know they say they ramped him up, but I think it's a bad game script here for the Texans. I could see Joe Mixon seeing 20 touches if they had his rushing attempts. I would like that. I don't know if I want to touch 87 yards. That one's tough as well. And I really like Westbrook Akine. He's starting to see 90% of the snaps as well. So his 31 yards is enticing, but I don't love it. The only Texan I really like is Fairbairn's kicking.
Okay, his kicking prop is currently at
8.5.
8.5. I mean, I don't hate it. You don't like Nick Folk's kicking? No? Okay. All right, Pete, you're up, buddy.
Yeah. So I like CJ Stroud's 9.5 rushing yards prop.
I was going to say that too. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much outside of outside of a few games. I mean, he's hitting this in about 50% of his games. This offensive line is super banged up, man. So a lot of that pressure has made him kind of roll out and run. And I also kind of like John Mechie's receiving yards at 19.5. I mean, if Sleez's opinion on Nico is true, then I would think John Mechie gets involved. I mean, he's had 33.74 in the last 2 weeks.
Too, right?
What do you say? Yeah, Snead's out. He's on. I don't know if he's on IR, but I know he's. And,
he's on IR.
And since week 4, he's played in 5 games and he's gone over in 3 out of the 5. And one of them was against the Jets, where I don't even know if he was on the field.
He got 2 targets in that game against the Jets.
Yeah. So
he was there, but not a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, like to me, I don't know, 19.5 seems like a good number. So I like that. And then I'm kind of with Sleaze on Westbrook Akine, but I don't see him on here. So do they not have? Oh, they do. Yeah.
31.5.
I like his 17.5 for the longest reception. I'm good with that. Texans, if there's one thing that they give up, it's yards in the passing game. So yeah.
He's been sneaky good, man. He out of the past 5 weeks, he's balling.
Yeah. I will say the Texans definitely don't give up a lot of receptions to opposing wide receivers, but they give up some significant chunk plays. So I like that call a lot. I'm looking right now, and Andrew, I know you're up, but if we're looking at the last 4 weeks, I don't know what's going on with the Tennessee Titans defense, but they've been giving up almost 20 fantasy points per week. Is this the bounce back matchup week for CJ Stroud, or
they're banged up everywhere? That's why.
Or is this another disappointing week for CJ Stroud? Like, is CJ Stroud in a smash spot finally?
They should be. I mean, they have like 3. They've had like 3 of their corners down for like 3 weeks straight, right? So they're playing fucking backups everywhere.
Well, we'll see. Andrew, you're up, buddy. What you got?
All right. First off, I have to profess my undying love for Joe Mixon this week. He's been over 100 yards 5 of the last 6 games. He's hit the end zone in every game but one. Longest run prop, I like that one. His longest run has been at least 21 in 5 of the last 6 games. I mean, there's so much Joe Mixon to love here. It's really hard to find anything I don't, except for the number of receptions at 2.5. He's been right around that 2 mark most of the season, so I'm shying away from that. I was going to mention Kaimi Fairbairn is a solid kicker option there. He's hit at least 2 field goals in every single game this season with 2 exceptions. So I think he's definitely going to get his job done. Mechie was a guy I was going to talk about too, but someone already beat me to it. And as for Westbrook Akine, the last guy I was going to talk about, he's a sneaky favorite for an anytime TD. If you put that wager out there, he has scored in 5 of the last 6 games for the Titans, and has been about the only real consistent guy to find the end zone.
I got absolutely destroyed on Twitter this week for not having Joe Mixon as a top 10 running back. I have him as RB11 for me on the week. I got absolutely destroyed. Great breakdown as usual, fellas. Let's catch up with the chat before we move on to the next game.
Wait, I got okay. Go ahead, catch up with the chat. I got something here. I want to pop back in there when you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got you. Chef, shout out to Chef, guys. Great guy, great mind. Says, sup, all you amazing people. Sup, Chef. Good to see you. Sleaze, you could be right about the Rams, is what I'm saying. Says Jake for the fantasy football propagandist. Julius Chetnut is who I'm on. Shout out to Fantasy Dog. He gifted 1 membership, and then he gifted another membership. Who got the gifted? You gifted Bayou, and you gifted AP. Wow. Great. And shout out to Bayou Bengal. Dude is an absolute legend. Subscribe to him on YouTube if you haven't. Good people. Pete, is that a Yingling?
Yeah, Yingling lager it is. Yeah.
All right. All-Star Panel, AP and Bayou, don't get no better for sure, man. Those are great gifts, Fantasy Dog. Shout out to you, buddy. And Fantasy Dog is just one of the kindest, most amazing human beings. 23, like number 23. God bless you. God bless you guys. And if you guys can smash the like, it really does help the channel grow. It helps the YouTube algorithm pick us up. Juan Pana Jr. says, for my wide receiver 2 and flex, I got Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 1, Brees and Kyron as my RBs. Brees is not playing this week, sir.
Yep, bye week.
Brees is not. Yeah, Brees is on a bye week.
I got more captain for you. All right.
Let's change that. Bench Juan Jennings, Ramondre Stevenson. We'll start Ramondre, sir. Josh Downs, Xavier Worthy, Ricky Pearsall, Westbrook Akine, Jacoby Myers. Tight end is Kittle. Quarterback is Mayfield. Yeah, I think everything is fine. Just get Brees Hall out of your lineup because he's on a bye week and play Ramondre Stevenson. Hell yeah, brother. Local brewery, nice. He's in Pittsburgh too. Should I drop anybody on my bench for Xavier Worthy, Nick Westbrook Akine, or Ricky Pearsall? No. Just start Ramondre Stevenson. All right, buddy, and bench Brees Hall because he's on a bye week and he's not going to get you any fantasy points. I was also getting killed by some guy on Twitter because he was taking a victory lap with the season, still having 6 weeks left, saying, Bijan Robinson is way better than Brees Hall. 1, he's the RB5. So if you're justifying a RB1 pick, sir, if you're justifying an RB1 pick in the first round as the RB5 on the season, you're an idiot because it was always Jamar Chase no matter what. Anybody from this community can fucking tell you it was always Jamar Chase no matter what. 2, the difference is 18 fantasy points. So if that's how you get your nut, that's between you and Jesus, sir. God bless you. All right, Denver Broncos are...
Wait,
go ahead. Back to this game. My bad.
Okay, so this is for Andrew and the Joe Mixon. So, or the panel right here, or the chat. How many starting running backs have had over a 20-yard rush versus Tennessee Titans defense? Only 1, and that's Jahmyr Gibbs. That's it. So they only average 70 rushers, 77 yards a game to them on the ground. I know the game script could lean towards Mixon. I'm not saying I don't like Mixon. I'm just saying they don't give up chunk runs. They don't give up a lot of rushing yards at all.
I mean, look, Titans defense is actually low key kind of good.
Good versus the run.
Yeah, they're low key kind of good.
Well, I think the under on the longest rush is a spectacular call.
So the only guys that have the longest rush is Tyler Goodson as a backup running back and Ray Davis in garbage time for the Bills, backup running back.
I like the call.
Jahmyr Gibbs is 77 bomb.
I would tail that under significantly. That's great call, Sleaze. All right, moving on. Denver. This is at 4:05. We got the Denver Broncos, who are only 6-point favorites, coming in to Las Vegas. The over/under is 41. Las Vegas is coming off of a bye. Looks like there's no Zamir White, so I'm probably going to get toasted again for Zamir White doing absolutely fuck all. With that being said, it's tough to like we said last time. Fantasy football is good in fantasy football, right? We saw Audric Estime in a smash start last week, and he was getting the vast majority, and he was getting the ramp up, and then Javonte Williams just fucking went nuclear.
30-yarder. Fuck. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we got Javonte Williams. His rushing prop is currently at 37.5, and I think that's fucking free. We got Audric Estime. His rushing prop is at 26.5 rushing yards. I think that's fucking free. Cortland Sutton over his 22.5 longest reception. I think that's also free. And the last thing that I think that is completely free is Brock Bowers over 58.5 receiving yards. I even like over 6.5 receptions. His longest reception don't like so much. Last time he played Vegas, he actually went last time he played Denver, he went absolutely nuclear. So yeah, I really like him in this spot. I don't like anything else, man. I really don't. Like Michael Mayer over 1.5 receptions, I think it's doable. Is it something that I think it's great? No. Also, this is probably the most advantageous matchup on the week for Denver's tight ends, but I'm not betting on any of those fucking tight ends. Now that I've said my piece, let's talk to the guy who's got Broncos gear on, and we probably should have started with you, but I'm stupid. Go ahead, buddy.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm on the Javonte. I think this is just a solid case of just they don't really know who's going to get the ball. And I think, like I said it before, I think this is Javante's back in Vegas. He's going to see the field. He's the best pass pro back on this team. I honestly don't hate 16.5 receiving yards, but I prefer the rushing. If we could get receiving plus rushing, I would probably prefer that. But 37.5, like you said, is a little bit too low in my opinion. I would have loved Amir Abdullah's receptions prop, but they don't have one. They just have receiving yards. And I look, I know you said it before. I kind of like the under on Gardner Minshew at 216. I think this game, I don't think the Broncos offense is going to blow them out of the water where they're going to have to throw like 40, 50 times. And I think 210 is a pretty decent number. But I just don't see it. I mean, I know he had 282 last week against the Dolphins, but outside of that, I mean, he went through a stretch where he didn't hit that number since week 3, and he was 214. And this is a weird offense. Like if Gardner Minshew gets banged up, like I wouldn't expect if he's shit in the bed, like I wouldn't expect him to go to. I think they had the kid from Atlanta, Ritter. I think Ritter. Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if he got the nod. So yeah, give me Javonte over rushing. Give me under on Minshew's passing yards, and that's pretty much all I really want to touch. I would be also open to Daniel Carlson's field goal points at 5.5 as well.
I like it. All right, Andrew, you're up next, buddy.
All right. So for me, the one thing that I like that's kind of stood out for me is when it comes to Bo Nix, he has performed so well lately. In the last 4 weeks, he's thrown 9 touchdown passes, despite putting up 0 scores in Baltimore when Denver just got their ass handed to him. Let's just be honest. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Nix over 20 20.5 completions, but under 20.5 rushing yards. Last time these two teams played, Nix had a long of 11, but wound up with 8 carries for 9 yards. He's just not consistent enough in the ground game. So, I mean, the last 2 games he's had +5 and -5. So I'm going to stay on the under on that one. The other one I'm looking at here is Jacoby Myers on his prop. Because basically he's the de facto wide receiver 1 after Devontae Adams left town. And at 51.5, I tempted to go on the under on that one just because the only time Jacoby Myers has really done well was against a crappy Cincinnati defense that pretty much lets everybody score on them. So I'm going to go with under 51.5 for Jacoby Myers. That's really about the only 2 things that I would go for that haven't already been spoken of.
Before we go to you, Sleaze, I just want to shout out a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show's, Derek Brown Debro from the Fantasy Pros. He put out like an excellent tweet breaking down Devon Vele and why he's a strong flex play this week. He says, since week 7, the Raiders have moved toward more too high coverage with the 4th highest rate at 60%. Since week 5 against too high, Vele has a 12.9 target share increase, 3.44 yards per reception, 17.6 first read shares. Since week 6, the Raiders versus the slot, the most fantasy points per game allowed, 6th most receiving yards per game allowed as well. So Devon Vele, to answer your question, is the answer here, Packers. Vele, Abdullah, Pop Douglas, Persall, Dell. I'm going with Devon Vele just because Debro is a good friend of mine, good friend of the show, and I love that breakdown and that analysis. Absolutely spectacular. And yes, we're dropping names because that's what we do in Big Draft Energy. Sleaze, you're up.
Tried to steal the Dan Quinn play, man, and it kind of shut down AJ Brown last week with the. Well, I guess that's the Commanders too high. Never mind, that's different. But that's what they're trying to go for. Thanks for leaving me a lot, guys. I mean, I don't really this. You guys covered most of it. I mean, I like Audric Estime's rushing and Javante's rushing. Obviously, the Raiders struggle. The one lock that I think that is missed here out of everything I said, which I agree with most of it, is Will Lutz as a kicker here for 7.5. Last time Will Lutz played the Raiders, he dropped 22 points. The Raiders are giving up, I think, like 2.5 field goals a game, plus the extra points on top of it. I really like Will Lutz a lot this week. I even grabbed him in Scott Fish. I love Brock Bowers, everything, probably except the longest. I'm interested, if I had to pick one that you guys didn't cover, I mean, I still think Bo Nix is going to get the 20 yards rushing. That's just something that's there. This Raider defense is good. They come heavy on the outside. I mean, you guys nailed it. You guys perfectly hit every single one that I would have said as well. So I mean, it's going last is rough here at the end. I'm trying to pick a different one.
Yeah,
that's what I would go with.
It's either his longest rush at 9.5 or his passing completions at 20.5. If I'm looking at game script, I don't think he needs to do either for them.
I don't like the game script for completions.
I don't think he needs to do either for them to win this game. But I will say now that because like I remembered that he tweeted that, I'm like, that's brilliant. Hopefully, I remember to bring it up on Saturday, and then out of nowhere, I saw that question from Packers, and I'm like, shit. So that's now my lock of the week. Devon Vele over 32.5 receiving yards and 16.5 longest reception. I'm absolutely putting that on every single card. Once again, shout out to D-Bro, absolute genius. Is there anything else?
Just to backtrack for you. That's why I didn't like Drake London last week.
Yeah, I mean, but why didn't you like Drake London last week?
Well, if you're looking at it, remember we were talking about PS2 versus him, right? And Jacoby Myers, and you were yelling at me for Jacoby Myers versus Miami, and he got shut down. Jacoby Myers can't be a play here again, and Drake London got locked up as well.
Well, Drake London did have 3 receptions for 63 yards. It's not sittable offense. I mean, like it wasn't the worst performance, but like we definitely got to see his floor. Is he matchup proof? I think
PS2 is the best on the planet. I think.
Yeah, unless he's going against Zay Flowers.
He didn't even cover Zay Flowers in that game.
This is true.
Yeah, he didn't.
This is true. Baker is so Fantasy Dog says Andrew is so cool. I tend to agree. We got everybody right, Andrew. We got your breakdown.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Baker.
Yeah, I talked about the one for Las Vegas with Jacoby Myers probably going under. So yeah, you got me on that one.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Desmond Ridder is going to be starting at halftime?
No,
I could see it.
I do.
I'll tell you this though. I think Daniel Jones is going to be starting quarterback next week. He's going to get picked up on Monday.
I think he might go to the 49ers, man. I don't know. I can see him going to San Fran.
How perfect would it have been if the Pastronaut saved us on Bimageddon for?
I don't know why he's not starting. I was actually kind of surprised about that.
Brandon Allen, like who? Titans second in fantasy points allowed to running backs in the last 4 weeks. Shout out to Fantasy Football Propaganda. Great follow on X. Also the best charts in the business. I make my own charts and he makes mine look terrible. It's fucking. He's brilliant. And you could do it for the price of a cup of coffee. And he provides the charts for free on X2. I'm doing good, dog. Thank you for asking. Hope you're all is well for you, fam. Shout out to Chef, man. We love Chef. Yepper, my man, Chef. You guys are just great people. Anyone think Gardner Minshew looks like Gus Swayze? I don't know who that is. Why don't I know who that is? Is that a baseball player? Is it a baseball reference? Amir, anytime TD had one last time versus Denver. I'm not betting on that, Dustin, but I appreciate you.
That's the Netflix guy that Baker Mayfield did. Gus Swayze, where he acted as the he puts on like a wig and shit.
That was on Amazon, not
just
Netflix.
Like fucking Gardner Minshew. That's good. It looks just like him. It's crazy. I gotta get it.
That's on Amazon, but yeah, good call. Now I know who you're talking about. Juan says, so who for my wide receiver 2 and flex? I was just mentioning my RB, so I could show you. My bench is Darnell Mooney, so not an option. So Downs and Jefferson, and then I guess you got to go either Jacoby Myers or Juan Jennings, but we don't like Jacoby Myers this week, so it's got to be Juan Jennings, right?
That's Gardner.
That is Gardner.
That's lazy. Looks like it does, dude.
That is Gardner. Yeah, so I mean, like shit, like you got to play Downs, and I guess Juan Jennings, right?
Nah, I mean, why not Mooney?
Because Mooney's on a bye week.
Yeah, Mooney's out.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I didn't know he had him in there, so that's why he said it was an option.
Yeah. I mean, like Jacoby Myers has got to sit. All right, boys, catch y'all later. Love you, hot take. I'm going to get another beer. Me and Sleaze laughing. Yes, sir. Enjoy your beer. Jason, who would you start at flex and half PPR? Juan Jennings. Shout out to Jason, by the way. Who would you start at flex and half PPR? Juan Jennings, DJ Moore, Javonte Williams, or Rico Dowdle? I'd say it's between Javonte or DJ Moore, and I'm leaning DJ Moore and more for the ceiling play, especially against a really advantageous matchup. Javonte, I think, is in a smash position. I think he's in a great position, but Denver is so volatile. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's DJ Moore for me. I think this is. I didn't say it before, but I do think this is DJ Moore week. I know Roma Dunze is the popular.
You left me hanging when I said his receiving yards.
You said his receiving yards. I think Disco said he didn't like the receiving yards.
He saw 7 targets last week for 60 with the new OC. It looks better, but it's a tough matchup. I know
it was the longest reception I didn't like.
And Andrew was saying, I think it was Andrew that was bringing up DJ Moore.
And Jason, get Rico Dowdle out your lineup so you don't even have this decision. The Cowboys aren't running the ball for 50 yards anytime soon.
Yeah, Andrew, what do you think? DJ Moore or Javonte? Because I'm ignoring Juan Jennings without.
I would avoid Juwan Jennings as well without Brock Purdy under center because I don't know what they're.
Allen is terrible.
So I'm going to lean DJ Moore for the ceiling play, but Javonte Williams, he definitely has some really good upside on this one. But DJ Moore, just because there's more potential for explosiveness in that game, as opposed to Javonte Williams could just grind it out 3 or 4 yards of cloud of dust, and that's all you really need to do to beat Las Vegas these days.
Yeah, but it's kind of like DJ Moore's, game as a receiver right now. If we're looking at yards or air yards per attempt with the new offensive court, it's at an all-time low. It really is incredible.
It's at 39.5, guys. I don't think the points are going to fly in this freezing Soldier Field game. No. I really don't. But I like DJ Moore more, but I don't think it's going to be like a high-scoring game.
You like DJ Moore more? Okay, cool.
I like the upside.
Ronnie Daniels says, evening, fellas, full PPR for the flex, Bucky or Ridley. Thanks, guys. It's Bucky for me. I know it's Ridley for Sleaze. Who do you guys have? Pete, Bucky. You got Bucky?
Yeah.
Andrew?
I'm going to go with Bucky on that one because it's just the matchup that Ridley has this week just doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, it's a great matchup for Ridley. I will never, ever recommend him over Bucky against the New York Giants. I just can't do it. Bucky against the New York Giants is a smash spot. And I think people are so worried about Mike Evans coming back. I think it's going to be a slow ramp up for Mike Evans, and the likelihood of him re-aggravating that injury is very high. I don't think he sees 1,000 yards, but that's for a different conversation. Who is a good QB to down tier into from Derek Carr? Tried for Penix, but he won't budge. Like in Dynasty?
Not much you can get for Carr right now, bro.
Yeah, tearing down from him. I mean, he's like the last tier, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah, there's not much.
Yeah. I mean,
Danny Jones?
Maybe if you throw in a half-eaten Twinkie, you could get Bryce Young. But I even that, the Dallas Cowboys gave up more for Jonathan Mingo than you can get for fucking Derek Carr. Let's make it make sense. Jacob, yes, talking from X says Jacob Mareski for the best charts in the business. Hey man, we just gave you a slogan. You're welcome. That's going to cost you 69 cents Canadian. Yes, there, and he just put it on YouTube as well. Sorry, caught the end of your answer. Vele and needed one more out of Abdullah, Pop Douglas, Persol, Dell. Thanks. It's Vele and Dell for me. You're going to get the most ceiling out of Dell, and Vele and Dell. But I absolutely love Vele, and thank you for bringing in your question, buddy. Appreciate you. You guys ready for the next game?
Yep.
All right, we're very close. So we're not going to talk about Monday Night Football because we do that on Sleezball's show on Monday night. But we will cover Sunday Night Football and Sleaze. Are you live tomorrow, or will you be turning your life up? If you're not live tomorrow, I'll go live and answer questions.
You can hit it tomorrow.
All right, cool. So we got the Arizona Cardinals, who are 1-point favorites coming into Seattle at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. The over/under is 47.5. Before I say my part, since we got an Arizona Cardinals insider, this is your team. Please go ahead and talk about them.
All right. I'm just as shocked as you are that this team is 6-4, leading the NFC West, and coming into a critical stretch right now where 2 of their next 3 games are against the Seahawks. If one of these 2 teams can win both games, they may very well win the division. So there's a lot at stake on this one. On to the props. I'm going to kind of stay away from completions on this one. I'm going to focus on interceptions for the quarterback. Give me Geno Smith over a half interception thrown. He has thrown one in 4 of the last 5 games, including a 3-pick outing against the Rams. So while Geno Smith is a decent yardage passer, there are a bunch of them that are going awry, and he's been picked off in all but 3 games this season. On the other side of the coin, give me Kyler Murray under a half of an interception thrown. I don't think he throws one this week, and anyone know how many he's thrown this season? There's
Okay.
more on the show than interceptions he's thrown. Only thrown 3. So I mean, Kyler Murray's done an excellent job with ball control. He's not making bad decisions. He's not just chucking crap up there. I don't think he throws a pick again this week. I'm going under on that one.
All right.
And I'll give you one more here. James Conner, give me him over the rushing yards. Cardinals are the 5th best rushing team in football at 150 yards a game. Seattle's one of the worst run defenses in football. I think that's where this goes this week. It feels like James Conner, run him into the ground and in the end zone.
I like that call. I like that call a lot. Great breakdown. Appreciate you appreciating us, appreciating you. So I will go on and say this. If we're looking at the last 4 weeks, this is the most advantageous matchup on the week for a wide receiver, and that wide receiver is Marvin Harrison Jr. With that being said, I love 51.5 receiving yards is absolutely free. I also like the over on receiving yards for Michael Wilson at 30.5. I also think Michael Wilson is a smash start this week, and I think he finds the end zone. That is a bold take. That's plus 500 in your sports books. I absolutely love Michael Wilson this week. I think he's a borderline wide receiver 3 fringe flex play. I like him a heck of a lot. If you do have him with Bymageddon, you know, there's a lot of significant wide receivers, on a buy. I love him in the spot. And another player I love in their spot this week, and I love another prop that I absolutely love is Jackson Smith and Jigba. If we're talking about fantasy production, the Arizona Cardinals allow a significant amount of production to the slot position. Predominantly, I really do like Jackson Smith and Jigba in this spot. The favorite prop I have for JSN is over 5.5 receptions. This is one of the better matchups for running backs, and I'm talking about Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker finds the end zone, and I think he finds his way into a top 10 RB performance this week. I also absolutely love Kenneth Walker this week. I think James Conner's got as good of a matchup as anybody out there, but I also don't trust him. And like Trey McBride, I disrespected him this week, guys. And I didn't include him in my tight end chart, and I probably should have. I think 18.5 longest reception is an absolute smash. I really do like him. NFL DFS picks. Dan, the link is in your DMs, sir. Feel free to hop on whenever you want. If you can. Obviously, you're setting up the new home, and congratulations on the new home. But yeah, man, even though you told me you couldn't make it, the show doesn't feel like the show without you. All right, buddy? He says Malik Neighbors, Bucky Irving, or Rashad White. I'm going Bucky Irving for sure, my friend. But I also like Rashad White a heck of a lot. Like if you have Rashad White, you got to play him. If you got Bucky Irving, especially during this bye week, got to play them as well. Break us down, buddy. I know these shows run so long. God bless you. You're a trooper.
We're good. Drinking, chilling. Let's go.
Yeah, we're good. So this one came from Datarama for DK Metcalf. I know me and you talked about it, but DK Metcalf sees a lot of cover 3 against the Cardinals. They run the 7th most in the NFL at 36%. DK's been phenomenal against cover 3 this year. Versus all coverages, he's had 25% targets per route run. When it's cover 3, that bumps up to 34% targets per route run. So he's pretty much getting an extra 10% of target share, per routes run against cover 3. And then when it comes to being the first read, he also, against cover 3, 32.6% first read target. And when it's against all other coverages, it's 27.5%. So I like DK Metcalf's over this week at 64.5. I go either way on JSN. We talked about that. I think the volume will be there. I just don't know about the yardage for him. I think, when DK Metcalf has been healthy, the ADOT has not been great for JSN. He's pretty much catching a lot of underneath passes, but he's getting peppered with volume. So I probably stay away from JSN. I think the receptions is probably the best play. I love Marv, like you said as well. I feel like that line's too low. And I don't know. I have a little bit of interest in Trey Benson. Even in games where they haven't been blowing people out, like he's been getting a good amount of attempts. I mean, he had 10 attempts last week. He had 8 the week before. So excuse me, 17 and a half rushing yards is a solid number. So I'll take the over on Trey Benson. I'll take the over on DK Metcalf's receiving yards. And then I think I'll take the over on Geno Smith to throw an interception. They've been playing some sloppy football. If there was a prop for him to fumble, I would probably take that because he's had butterfingers this last few games. So I'll take the interception on Geno as well.
Yeah, I like the call on Trey Benson. If we're looking at week 10 before their bye, he had 16 snaps. That was 27% of the snaps, and he also had more snaps than Amari DiMarcado. So great call there. Week 9, he had 28% of the snaps, also 16 snaps, and 2 more snaps than DiMarcado there too. So he's quickly emerging as the RB2 there. And even though it's a small sample size, he has been very efficient and electric when he has gotten the ball in his hands. I do like that call a lot. Sleeze, you're up.
All right. So this game, man, you just took everything from me with Jay Season. I don't like Jay Season in this game. I saw that tweet. Dude, this is the DK Metcalf game here, 100%. I'm staying away from Jay Season in this game. You stole the Trey Benson from me. I like Trey Benson to smash 17.5. He saw 10 carries last time, and they've talked about using him more. And now you get a perfect matchup. This is like the running back game here when everyone's looking at wide receivers. This is going to be Kenneth Walker, James Conner, a little Trey Benson here, a little Zach Charbonnet. Seattle's been really struggling versus the run. So, and I'm looking at it, even Marvin at 51, he's so up and down. That number looks low, but I still don't really like betting on it. If I was going to say anything, I would probably take Trey McBride, the real wide receiver 1 in Arizona. I like his 50 yards. I like him for his longest reception. And I like him to get his first goddamn touchdown of the season. Being the top 5 tight end with no touchdown is crazy. That's how much volume he sees. So it's only DK Metcalf for me on the Seattle side. Kenneth Walker, I like the rushing. And what's crazy is old man Geno's starting to run more and more and more. He just put a game winner dagger into my Niners last night rushing. The 12.5 seems free for him.
If the 12.5 seems free for him, and we saw Brock Purdy just run wild last week against Seattle, then 28.5 rushing yards or 13.5 longest rush for Kyler Murray should also be doable.
It does. I like that.
It should also be doable, right? I think
doable. Well, hold on. It's doable, but he's so inconsistent. He's either going to run for like 7 yards or 70 yards, and there's no in between on Kyler Murray.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, and a lot of weeks it kind of makes you want to hold your breath and hope you don't puke.
Well, he started out hot, though, if I remember. He had like 50, 60, 70, but then he just went to nowhere.
Yeah, I was waiting for Andrew to drop the Call of Duty.
But Trey Benson's one of my absolute locks, by the way.
Yeah, I kept the long range gusher in the holster for this one. But I would also say if you're wanting something else to put one on here, Jason Myers over 6.5 kicker points. The Cardinals defense has allowed a bunch of field goals and only field goals in the 4-game winning streak. They allowed 5 field goals to the Chargers, 2 in the win over the Dolphins, 3 of the Bears, 2 of the Jets. 6.5 points seems pretty doable for a kicker, especially of Myers' capabilities.
Heard. All right, let's catch up with the chat. So Carl Ramrod, what's up, Carl Ramrod? He says, Slayton, ? Shout out to you, Carl Ramrod. God bless you. You've been A1 since day one. What about him? If I'm not trusting the Lick neighbors, I'm definitely not trusting Darius Slayton. I'm not touching his props. So definitely not doing it. Knifey Spoonie, my guy, he says, you boys are putting in a shift. Thanks for the hard work, gents. God bless you. I appreciate you, buddy. And he just became a YouTube member. So very, very special thing about Knifey Spoonie, and this means the world to me because I was been wondering when the fuck are you gonna, become a member of Disco Support. He was on the first ever episode as my co-host of the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. He makes some smash plays, some splash picks. He should be doing more content, but his real life job is he's making a killing, and he just got a promotion. So congrats to you. We absolutely love you, buddy. All right, NFL DFS picks with a fully loaded question here. He says, Disley, Schoonmaker, Jatavian Sanders, or Ertz. I have Ingram and Ferguson. I need to drop Ferguson or Ingram with small benches. Fuck. If you have to drop somebody, I would say Ferguson because he's hurt and Ingram's going to be back next week and he's going to be everything and then some. And I would lean Jatavian Sanders just based off of the matchup, but like Will Dissly has an excellent matchup as well. But I think everybody's too high on Will Dissly this week as well. And like I said that last week.
Dissly, bro.
I said it last week. He smashed. I said it the week before. He smashed. Guess what? Consistency is fucking key. I'm saying it again.
I think he smashes again. I like Disley.
I think.
Hey, I called Disley on our show last week.
You did.
Now a lot of people were. So I mean, there's no really patting on the back. A lot of people liked him, to be fair.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, except for me. And man, last week was so fucking weird. Let's talk about the Taysom Hill. The amount of times people ask me Taysom Hill or Mark Andrews. I'm like, Mark Andrews, Taysom Hill. Oh my god, man! Like I was so adamant that Taysom Hill was going to be a fucking bum this week or last week, and he broke fantasy football. That's like one of the most fantasy football points we've seen from a tight end ever in the history of Everton. But like, he gets what, 2 or 3? Oh, thank you, baby. He gets 2 or 3 of those performances a year. Like, how do you project when it's going to happen? Anyways, good for him, bad for me. It is what it is. Moving on to the next game, we got Sleezball's San Francisco 49ers, who are only 5.5 underdogs going against the Green Bay Packers. They don't have Charvarius Ward. Obviously, they don't have Brock Purdy, their starting quarterback. And Nick Bosa is also out. So this is a very, very tough situation for them. On the other side, the Green Bay Packers are missing Jair Alexander. The over-under is 44.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sleezeball, take it away, buddy.
So we don't even know if Trent Williams is going to be out there either. So I think we're just benching everybody for next week to try and get everyone healthy in this game.
Even CMC?
I mean, we might as well. I think you're going to see more Jordan Mason in this game. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a tempered expectation. So the only thing I like in this game is literally Josh Jacobs, because I don't know how the rest is going to go. Obviously, I would like Kittle, but man, I've seen Brandon Allen throw the football. It's not good. So when I'm looking at all this, I see 201 for Allen. I'm taking the fucking under by a mile. I think the weather is going to be absolutely freezing cold in this game too. I haven't checked the cast on it yet. They say there's like possible snow too, I think, in this game, right?
Yeah.
My 43 possibility. So this guy's not throwing for 200 yards. I'm not buying any of that. He's absolutely. There should be Josh Dobbs in here. I don't know what's going on. Josh Jacobs 72.5. I like that. I like Christian Watson for a chunk play. That's what the 49ers struggle at, is chunk plays. 19.5. I would take that. Jaden Reed 21.5. I would take that. I mean, Kittle's 37 looks enticing. I just don't trust anything with Brandon Allen at all. I don't even like CMC's lines at all. He could probably see 30 touches in this game to control the clock, maybe, but I don't trust it. It's like the hardest game to decipher, because it could be a full Packers run game script and a freezing cold game, and you have a backup quarterback that's worse than he's terrible. I don't even have a joke for him how bad he is.
Is he terrible?
He's about as bad as my dating life.
I watched him, and I think I said the college a couple of days ago. It was like South Carolina or Arkansas, whatever he went to. He's horrible.
By the way, this is why they call me Big Draft Energy, guys. This is a tiny can of Pepsi. This is why they call me Big Draft Energy. Okay. So I will say, if we're looking at San Francisco, they are free longest yard or longest reception props.
That's what I'm saying, chunks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Christian
Watson and Reed
19.5. Where's Jaden Reed? I love Jaden Reed over 21.5. I like both of their longest receptions. I think your analysis on Josh Jacobs is spectacular and bang on.
There's no way you're taking Allen over 200 passing yards, right? This has to be under.
Here's the thing. Last year, we saw San Francisco in a very similar situation where Brock Purdy was hurt and Sam Darnold came in, and it was against, I forgot who it was, but it was like week 15 or 16 right after they got pummeled by the Baltimore Ravens. And he was absolutely phenomenal, right? We've seen bad quarterbacks under the Shanahan tree emerge and play well. I'm not writing off the 49ers. I think the 49ers.
Who did Sam Darnold play that week?
That I don't remember, not off the top of my head.
Because this is a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been saying Green Bay is going to go to the Super Bowl and win it all off season, and I'm still standing on business.
So let me see.
I don't hate Brandon Allen. I'm not writing him off. I'm not writing off the pass catchers. San Francisco needs this win.
What year are you talking about? 2022 or 23?
Last year.
So Purdy played every single game last year, but week 18, the bye week.
Yeah. When you look at the 49ers schedule, they've got Green Bay this week. Then they go up to Buffalo.
It was when he.
That's
so,
brutal.
yeah. Well, sorry. It was when he came in and filled in for Brock Purdy during that pummeling against the Baltimore Ravens. He came and filled in, and he actually almost brought you guys back. He did really well.
Oh, okay. When Purdy plays 7, that's his lowest snaps. Okay, 73%. I see it. Okay, yeah.
But
Yeah,
just to finish my thought about the 49ers schedule, after Buffalo, they host Chicago and then the Rams 4 days apart, go all the way out to Miami, and week 17, they get that NFC title game rematch with Detroit.
Hey, be nice. We're fine.
It's not going to be easy, but I can see some bumps happening along the way for the 49ers.
Not good, man. I think it's
Well,
done.
they're going to have to compete. Like, I don't think they're going to win, but they're going to have to compete, and I'm not going to completely write them off. I think they're going to compete, and they got to. All right, you're out, buddy. What's up, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much. I'm with Sleaze. I'll take Josh Jacobs rushing yards for sure. And I'll take Jordan Love to throw an interception. 49ers are 5th when it comes to opponents' interceptions thrown percentage. And Jordan Love's thrown an interception in every game this year. So yeah.
But wouldn't that be because Bosa's pressure though too a little bit?
It could be. I mean, with Bosa not being there, maybe it changes. But I don't know. For some reason, I feel like this 49ers team is going to scrap tomorrow. I mean, do I think it's going to be pretty? No, but I think the defense will come to play at least because they got embarrassed last week. So yeah, I'll take Jordan Love just going by the trends and just take him to throw an interception like he's done in every game.
I like that.
Yeah, Carl Ramrod agrees with you. He also said Jordan Love interception in the chat. Get out of each other's head. Shout out to Carl Ramrod. All right, speaking of the chat, let's catch up. Fantasy Dog says you rock knifey spinning. I agree. Slayton, Tommy DeVito loves the underneath targets Wandale season. It could be. I also like Theo Johnson a lot this week. It's an advantageous matchup, and a quarterback who is either young or rookie or just shit. They like to target the tight ends a heck of a lot, and I think Tommy DeVito is shit. So he's going to Hill had a 40-pointer last. Yeah, he does it every year, like once or twice a year. It's crazy. How do you project it? I don't know. Sleaze, are you sitting all 49ers pass catches? It appears so. Anyone see a fantasy league where everyone in the league has to start Taysom Hill on a randomly? No, that's pretty funny though. Terrence saying on Twitter, it would mean a lot if you came over to the YouTube channel, but I will gladly answer your question because you are supporting the content. He says Theo Johnson or Tucker Kraft if I can get Will Dissly. If I can't get Will Dissly, fuck Tucker Kraft. Not a great matchup, but usually when he doesn't face great matchups, he smashes. If the weather is going to be tough, he is going to see more check down volume. But Theo Johnson's in a great spot with a quarterback that's going to need to check it down. I'm still going with Tucker Kraft for the ceiling play. He's been more reliable. I think last week was an outlier where he just didn't really do well. But thank you for coming by, buddy. Knifey says, what are the chances Kittle gets left in the block more to protect the quarterback? I mean, like coming off of his hamstring injury, like, do we think that he's going to be full go and run every route? And
I think they're going to temper everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. NFL DFS Picks has a question for Pete. He says, is there a tight end in Denver we can trust? This is a great matchup. Yeah, it's one of the best matchups. Pete.
I mean, you have Kroll and you have
Troutman.
Troutman's been solid. Nate Atkins has actually been okay too. I mean, they're pretty much doing a rotation of 3 tight ends. Atkins is like a H-back. He lines up at fullback and tight end. I mean, I don't really care about the matchups. I mean, I wouldn't start any of them with confidence.
Yeah, next best up is the slot position, and that's Vele. I like Vele a lot, even more because
what happened with Dolchis this year, Pete? My sleeper guy of the year. What happened?
I liked him too. He's the problem with him is that he can't block, and on top of Peyton loves receivers that can block. That's why little Jordan Humphries still plays. But in addition to, I mean, he dropped a lot of passes the last game he played, and I think it just pissed them off, and they were just like, "Fuck this."
Dude, it's definitely better.
The one thing you're supposed to be good at, you can't block, and then you're dropping a bunch of passes. So I think they just said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, and Knifey says most receptions on the season for a tight end is Kroll at 10 all season. So shout out to Knifey with a great insight there. Definitely a trap for sure. All right, moving on to the last game that we're going to cover, guys. We're almost there, and this is a heck of a game.
No, Brock Bowers just had 13 receptions, but
No. He meant like for the Broncos.
Oh, for the Broncos. All right, I was gonna say. I
yeah.
thought you meant on the year. Okay, got you.
Just have another drink.
Yeah.
This guy's trying to scrap everything and half listen. It's great.
Well, I thought he said all year. I heard you say all year season. I was like, no. I thought Bowers had 13 last week.
All year season. Yes, that's exactly what I said. Philadelphia Eagles, 3-point favorites coming into Los Angeles for Sunday Night Football. They're playing the LA Rams. The over-under is 49.0. I will say this. No Devonta Smith, and he's been one of my greatest disappointments in fantasy football this year. Him and Jalen Waddle, both of them have been absolutely disappointing. No Devonta Smith is great for Dallas Goedert. I love the over on all of Dallas Goedert's props. Currently, he's at 48.5 receiving yards, 4.5 receptions, and 19.5 longest receptions. A very advantageous matchup on the week as well. The Rams give up quite a bit of production to the tight end position. I absolutely love Dallas Goedert in this spot. I like 10. No, I'm not. Jahan Dotson is in a good spot, but I just don't like him. I like A.J. Brown's receiving yards props. A.J. Brown is easily a top 2-3 wide receiver for me on this week. And then Cooper Kupp, 6.5 receptions is very doable. I also love that as a smash. And then last but not least, if we're looking at longest rush, the longest rush for Jalen Hurts is currently at 11.5. That's an absolute smash of a play. Those are the only props I like. But yeah, pretty much if you have any of these players, they're all playable. Every last one of them are playable in this matchup. I think it's going to be closer. And I think, I'm not saying that Philadelphia Eagles are frauds, but their defense has definitely been frauds because they've had some really, really easy matchups. Now, for the counter argument, Sleaze, you're up.
Dude, my favorite play of the week here is Dallas Goedert. So yeah, Devonta Smith out. Jonnu Smith was just tied in 1 versus them. I think Dallas Goedert is going to absolutely eat in this game. And I'm going to stick to my Puka Nacua. I'm going under the receiving yards. I think Quinyon Mitchell is going to hold him down. I know you guys don't think that. I know you like Puka to start. I'm going to stick with he's not going to get it.
Sleaze, sorry. I got it.
Hold up. What did you just say? I'm going to need you to stand on business.
When we say stand on business, that means he has a minute and a half to defend what the idiocy he just spoke. That he just Puka under. So go ahead, sir. Defend your take. We're all listening.
Eagles.
64 people listening to you right now.
Listen up.
On Puka Nacua. So is and also to add to that. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Is Puka a sit for you?
He's on my. I don't like starting him this week, but he's not a sit. You can't sit Puka.
But you can sit him for Neighbors.
I would start Neighbors. The matchup's better. Yes.
Okay.
So here you go. Right now, his over under is at 60. What is it? 8 yards. The Philadelphia Eagles are number 1 versus the wide receiver get of 101. You know he's going to split with Cooper Kupp either way. He'd have to pop a big one. Quinyon Mitchell has had 4 wide receivers in a row under 10 points, but 1 player or 5. But 1 player besides Jamar Chase, who's the best in football right now. And the Philadelphia Eagles only give up 10.1 receptions to the wide receiver. I know you're going up against McVay's offense. I know it's a different look. I'm just telling you, this guy, Quinyon Mitchell, is for real, and we're going to be talking about him like PS2 next year.
I do like Quinyon Mitchell. I think he deserves a lot of respect and Defensive Rookie of the Year consideration. But like I mentioned earlier, man, they faced nobody the last couple of weeks. In the first couple of weeks, they got absolutely torched, including Quinyon. So we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. But please,
they're probably going to motion him all over the place. Is the only thing that's going to probably help him. But if they left him out there, it would be
it's just a different animal. If we're talking about how many times, like I anticipate for the Rams to stay in this game, they're going to throw the ball close to 45 times. And that's not an over analysis or breakdown. So if we're anticipating that many pass attempts from Matthew Stafford, there's no unless he gets hurt, and we don't take W's or L's on injuries unless he gets hurt. There's no fucking way Puka's going to be under 120 yards, let alone 68.5.
Oh, 120? You're crazy.
I am crazy. I bet on it. I also called
right now.
Tight end 1.
And gifted right now.
Bet.
All right, we'll take it. There you go. 120 yards. That's crazy.
No. The bet is over his prop. Over or under? I'm taking the over on Puka.
Oh, okay. I'll take the under on that.
I mean,
10
it's a pretty high number.
It is. It is.
So I feel like Vegas is daring you, if you're going by the trends, they're daring you to take the under because of him shutting people down. Like, I don't know. And here's the thing that worries me. Vic Fangio's defense is bend but don't break. They let up a lot of underneath stuff, and Puka is the guy that runs all the screens, catches all the bubbles, like the
That's
swing
why.
pass.
Hang on. Let me finish up.
All right, go ahead.
Kyren Williams has also been locked at 2.5 receptions. The Eagles give up 4.7. Their front seven is very good. That's my third lock.
That was going to be one of mine.
Dallas Goedert, Kyren Williams receptions, and Puka Nacua with the motherfucking under.
All right. So just to be clear, it's 68.5. We got 10 gifted on the line. Sleaze is taking the under. I'm taking the over. I don't care if you're drunk. I'm taking advantage of you right now.
That's
okay,
fine.
cool. Pete, you're up.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to take Kyren 2.5. I put it out in my Discord about an hour or two ago before we even went live. So I'm with Sleaze on that. And then the only other thing I really love, I mean, look, I like AJ Brown. He's on a scoring drought right now, so he's kind of been frustrating. 86.5 yards is fucking nuts, man. That is a high number.
He gets like 100 a game though, doesn't like the past games?
I mean, he's been that. There's one thing, he gets a lot of yardage. But I like Blake Corum, 9.5 rushing yards. You know, I know the bit with Corum and Kyren, and it was a stupid one. But Corum last week, 21 rushing yards, 8 yards the week before. He's had 9, 11, 25, and 28 in the games that he's played. So he's only went under on this 3 times, and one of them he missed by 0.5, and the other one he missed by a yard. So to me, I think he hits that. I think he hits that for sure.
I like that. The Eagles' run D is good though, and this can be a game where it matters. I like. Hang on before you move on. Do you guys like the Rams or the Eagles to win this? I like the Rams.
I like the Eagles to win this, and I also like Saquon Barkley over his longest rush.
I like the Rams up.
Really, Andrew, who you got?
All right. I definitely think the Eagles win this game, but in terms of quarterback props, I put a couple out there. One, Stafford to throw an interception. He's thrown one in 7 straight games, except for one last week against New England. Jalen Hurts, he's going to go under the 18.5 completions. He has not thrown more than 18 completions in a game since week 3 at New Orleans. And the other one I like on Jalen Hurts is the rushing yardage. I mean, he's been nearly 40 yards at least each of the last 4 games. So 38.5, I do like that one. And just for the hell of it, I would, Jalen Hurts anytime TD seems like money in the bank. He's hit the end zone 9 times in the last 5 games. So I definitely like him there.
Yeah, he's my QB1 on the week. I love the 11.5 longest rush for him. And it seems like every week an RB goes for over, 17 yards, 18 yards against the LA Rams. So Saquon Barkley longest rush is way more realistic than the 94.5. But also another prop that's an absolute smash. If we're anticipating that they're going to have to air the ball out a heck of a lot and not run against this front seven, then Matthew Stafford's 23.5 completions is absolute fucking money, because I anticipate he's going to throw 40 to 45 times in this game. Yeah. So I also love that prop right there.
Yeah, two of the last 3 weeks, he's actually thrown the ball more than 40 times, and he hit 25 completions in the win at Seattle and 32 in the loss against Miami. So, yeah, if it starts flying around, he's going to hit that number.
For sure.
I agree.
Great show, fellas. So we're gonna catch up with the chat, and then we're gonna build a couple of tickets. All right. So I'm gonna build an 8-piece ticket, one from each of you, and then finally one with mine. Okay. So get in, if you guys have it, get an 8-piece ticket together. I'm gonna tail it, put $5 on it. All proceeds of my winnings, should there be any winnings, 100% of it will be donated to our Christmas Miracle charity. If you guys are not aware and you guys missed the segment at the beginning, for 4 years straight now, a good friend of mine, and I've been very, very blessed to be part of this movement. It's a Christmas Miracle where we are feeding 100 families locally. And it's been started by, once again, a good friend of mine who is a local police officer and a local coach and the president of the football organization that I used to play for when I was a youth and that I grew up for. All proceeds, 100% of the proceeds goes towards feeding over 100 families. We've hit over 100 the last 3 years. So we're looking to make it 4 years straight. I never had the platform to do it. Now that I have it, I would really, really appreciate any and all help, guys. The link for the Rally Up donation is in the description. Any and every dollar donated would be greatly appreciated. Anything really helps. All right, so there's that. Let's catch up with the chat now. Sniper Mel is in the house. She says, "Hi, y'all. What's up, Sniper Mel? Good to see you." Knifey Spoon says, "Quinion is arguably the best cornerback in the league as a rookie, easily. Very close.
Rookie, not the best in the league. Pump the brakes.
He's top 5 in the league currently.
He's top 5 for sure.
Top 5.
You're
One of the
high.
best.
I don't know.
Name me 5 better corners.
I said he's top 5.
No, not you.
I mean, you put me on the spot, but I mean,
I give you 3. That's it.
I'd say PS2. I would still probably take. I'd probably take Christian Gonzalez over him. I know
No,
he's
not
having
anymore.
a bad year, but that defense. I mean, the problem you have to understand that like corners, like a lot of it matters the pass rush around them. Like the Eagles have a great foundation around them. Quinion Mitchell has a great foundation around him in the secondary. Like, so I mean, Christian Gonzalez, if he was on a better team, would be probably playing better. Like
Christian Gonzalez is not better than Jalen Johnson.
Yeah,
No.
Jalen Johnson would have been one. Jalen Johnson would have been for one of them too.
Sauce.
Sauce.
No, Sauce is falling off a little bit.
He's fallen down a little bit. He's
I
fallen
would
down a little
take
bit.
Tre'Davious Ward from the Niners all day over him.
Treverius.
Fuck yeah, he's hella
Travarius,
good.
yeah,
Yes.
he's been phenomenal.
He's like PFF number 3.
Ladarius Sneed, when healthy, he's one.
very
Anyway,
good.
anyways,
Well,
that's
he's
enough
healthy.
corner talk.
Yeah,
Let's go blow some money. Sean Jr.
Eagles fly.
McCafferty says, "Got Tyreek Hill. Are we playing Tua or Patty?" I think you're good with either one of those quarterbacks. I think Tua's going to have to chuck it up, and I think he's going to have a lot of production because the Patriots have no pass rush, hence why Christian Gonzalez is struggling. But also, Patrick Mahomes has one of the most advantageous matchups on the weeks, where the even though Carolina Panthers don't necessarily give up a lot of completions, they give up a significant amount of yards and touchdown production. So yeah, check your donations. God bless you. Fuck. Let me check that. I got to click on the link in the description because I have the link in the description.
Knifey Spoony, that's forking awesome.
Dude, I can't wait for this Puka shit. Get me going to this game. Start this up. Quinion is him.
Shit.
Let's go.
Knifey, you already donated $100. That's incredible, man. That's super generous of you. Congratulations on your promotion, and thank you again for being the first person to donate here, man. I really, really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for doing that. Let's not forget about Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean's been phenomenal, but like the fact that he wasn't playing the first couple of weeks was absolutely ridiculous to me. Are we arguing that Revis didn't have a good team around him? Quinion shuts down everyone, and don't listen to PFF. They say Andrew Phillips is the best corner. Yeah. Facts.
PFF actually has PS2 as like corner 60 this year. So
yeah,
because they ding you for PI.
Yeah. PFF is interesting. I definitely don't live by them, but there is a couple of good pieces of information there. All right. So do any of you guys have an 8-piece, or do I just build the 8-piece based off of what we spoke about?
Oh,
I started building one, but
I say we take 2 of each of ours. That's
what I thought we were going to do is 2 of each of us.
Okay. So since we're taking 2 of each of ours, who we'll go one by one. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go first then, and I want to give me back in the Indianapolis game, give me Josh Downs over 55.5 receiving yards. He's been over 67 in the last 8. That to me seems like that's one that should hit easy.
All right, 7 more. Who's got the next one?
Trey Benson 17.5.
Fuck. We lost this one already.
Oh.
Give me Mike Evans' receiving yards.
Okay, I'll take that.
His receiving yards, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Hurts and his longest rush at 11.5. Love that prop. And then I'm going to go again, and we're gonna go reverse order. We're gonna go Gibbs over his longest reception at 11.5 yards.
That's a good one.
He's fucking this guy. Give him the ball. He takes everything to the house. It's crazy.
All right, Pete, you're back up.
Yeah, give me Westbrook Akini's longest reception.
Wow. You went with it. I like it. Okay. NWI, baby. Let's go. I'm with it. All right.
All right, Sleaze, you're up.
Caleb Williams passing yards at 203. Minnesota gives up 300 a game.
All right, Andrew, take us home.
Javonte Williams over 37.5 rushing yards, the revenge game narrative, and the fact that Vegas flat out sucks.
There you go.
I love
All
that.
right,
That's one of my favorite
so the
ones.
only ones that are going to hit are the ones I gave, pretty much. All right, so I'm putting $10 on this, guys. Should I safety it? Safety, yay or nay?
Oh, fucking ride or die. Let it go. I put 10 on it.
All right, we put 10 on it right here, guys. If this hits $1,000 USD, which is like 1,300, 1,400 Canadian, will go towards this fund and get us really, really close to our 2,000 goal. Knifey already got us started. So once again, guys, we got Jahmyr Gibbs over 11.5 longest reception, Mike Evans over 54.5 receiving yards, Josh Downs over 55.5 receiving yards, Trey Benson over 17.5 rushing yards. I should have fucking safetied it. Jalen Hurts over 11.5 longest rush. Nick Westbrook-Ikine over 17.5 longest reception. Javonte Williams.
You act like you don't know that Trey Benson just took the same amount of carries as James Conner last week for more yards.
He didn't. Javonte over 37.5 rushing yards. Caleb Williams over 203.5 passing yards. You guys can tail too by using promo code DISCO on Drafters Fantasy Sports. Your first bet is on us. Promo code DISCO will double your initial deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 Rooskies. Guys, thank you for this incredible show. I know we haven't done this in a couple of weeks. Dan, we miss and we love you. I got to take a picture because I have 382 live viewers. We have.
Let's do one with everyone with one lock. Your actual one lock.
Okay, one lock, one with everyone's one lock.
And you can't use those picks we just did.
And we can't use those picks we just did. All right, cool.
So I want Anthony Richardson's passing yards.
All right.
And I'm gonna throw 20 on
Sleaze he just really wanted to say that one again. He doesn't really care that you put the bet
he
in.
took Josh Downs' yards. I couldn't do it.
To circle back really badly on Richardson's pass.
No, he took Downs first, so it cut me out.
I knew somebody was going to take it, so I had to jump it right there. I'm like, that's mine.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. And this is going to hurt Sleaze because he just said he's putting 20 on it.
Yeah, I want 20 on it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we're going Puka Nakua over 68.5 receiving.
All right. Oh, dude, I'll take a picture. All right, that's a fucking loss. Here we go.
All right, okay. I won't do that to you. So I'm gonna go with. I'll let the other two go, and I'm just gonna scroll through and see.
Absolute lock, and I'll take a picture with the 20 on it, and we'll do it.
Because I said a couple were absolute locks, were absolute free. It was Marvin Harrison Jr.
51 yards.
Yeah, so I like his, and then there was another one I looked at where I was like, "This is an absolute lock," and it's offensive that it's only this low, and it was a running back, and it was around 50 something yards. So I'm trying to find him.
David Montgomery.
No,
I was surprised we didn't talk about David Montgomery.
I think he's a lock.
He's like my favorite running back in the league, man. Love that guy.
He just dominates.
It's like Monty got his contract and he just kept right on going. He didn't just shit out after he got the money.
I also okay, so instead of Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm going to go with Roma Dunze over 3.5 receptions.
I like that a lot. Yeah,
but there's another running back who I was like, it's like offensively low, and I'm trying to find him again.
They don't even have lines on Mostert anymore.
It was Bucky Irving 51.5. I'm going to add that too. Sorry, I got two because it's my fucking show.
That's fine. I'll take 5. We'll
write a big one. You're always a big Bucky fan.
Bucky. Okay, so I got Anthony Richardson, Rome, Bucky. What do you got, Pete?
Yeah, give me Jordan Love interception.
Okay. What do you got?
Over Josh Jacobs?
Over Josh Jacobs, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna switch to the Jacobs rushing yards.
No. You called it.
Fine. Fuck. Let's go. All right. I'll write it. Interception. I'll post it in your Discord too. Don't worry.
All right. Andrew, after lock, buddy.
Let me go for one that I had, the one that I was going to mention earlier, but I didn't. DK Metcalf, long reception, over 24.5.
I like it.
In the last, basically every game this season, he's been at least 20, except for the season opener against Denver. And he's only missed that number once, and that was a 22-yard catch against the Giants. So if he just falls forward a little bit more, this should hit, and hopefully more money falls into the charity deposit box here.
All right, so I'm gonna give one of mine now. Just
there you go. It's up.
I'm gonna give I'll post the one of mine after. Anything you guys want to first? since we got 383 people here, we'll go in order just from Pete, Sleaze, then Andrew. Let the folks know who you are, where you're from, what you do, how they can support you and your content. And thank you so much for being such a trooper on this long show. It is a really long show. It's very trying, and Sleaze has toughed it out a lot of times. So has Andrew and NFL DFS picks, but this is your first one here, and I want to say, like, great fucking work. Your analysis is top notch. This is why I was a fan of yours before I became a friend of yours. You are one of one, and you are one of my favorite content creators, and people should really, really go and support your content. So Pete, tell the folks who you are, where you're from, and what you do, buddy.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Good, kind words, and always happy to jump on. But yeah, come find me on X, Supernova38, 2 R's. Most of my content that's been good lately, like I said it before, is the defensive streamers. Had a strong success rate there. I've hit in every single week. I've had a defense 25% owned or less that I've called out every single week. Finished in the top 9. Prior to that, it was top 7, but one defense 2 weeks ago. Finished outside of that. But yeah, you can find me there. You can find me on my YouTube channel at the FF Faceoff sports channel, and I'm also moving over to OnlyFans. My name is Big Balls Nova. So I know a lot of people are switching over to the other app. I just wanted to make sure people knew I was going there too. So you can find me over there on the OnlyFans.
Why are people switching over there out of curiosity?
To OnlyFans? I mean, there's a lot of money to be made over there.
And what do you do with the fantasy football content at OnlyFans?
Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, I do the defensive streamers videos naked, you know.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. See, that's what I'm doing right after. Like, I'm literally wearing a G-string, like as we speak right now. It's fucking
perfect.
Oh man, okay.
Like that's what's under right now.
No, I was being legitimate. Like, why? I've seen a couple people say that. Why?
I have not seen that at all. That's the first I've heard it.
To OnlyFans, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made there, man.
Oh my god. All right.
You know the same people here, Knifey. I got fantasy feet content exactly. All right, Knifey.
Yeah, there you go,
buddy. DK Metcalf over 24.5 longest reception. Dunze over 3.5 receptions. Bucky Irving over 51.5 rushing yards. Jordan Love over 0.5 interceptions. Anthony Richardson. You know what? I'll just screenshot it and send it to you. You text.
I put it in the cord. It's in the cord.
Okay, mine or yours?
Yours.
Okay, thank you.
I'm on top of it.
Yeah, you're killing it, man. You're killing it. Speaking of killing it, let the folks know who you are, where you're from, what you do, how they could support you. And Sleaze, I've seen you go from one viewer on average in the off season during a best ball stream, and that one viewer was me, to now, to on a Thursday night before kickoff, hitting 50 viewers on YouTube. It's an incredible milestone. I'm very proud of you, the work that you do. Nobody puts out more content than you. So I appreciate you for being a trooper and not forgetting about us little guys, but I also am very proud of you and seeing how far you've come. Let the folks know how they could support you in your content.
Thank you. It all started from you, man. You started the whole YouTube journey for me when we started the draft. So I got to throw the shout out to you to start with, man. And Pete and Andrew, amazing to have you guys in here as well. Second time with Pete. Andrew's always on here. Great content here tonight, all night, fellas. Derek, my name is, I go by Sleezball FF. That's a gamer nickname that came from like 10 years ago. My mind is a weapon, fantasy football. And yeah, you can find me across every single platform with that. And glad to be here anytime, man. Glad to have you guys anytime you want. I always love chopping up football, even though I was drinking a little bit tonight, jumping in.
A little bit.
So fun.
Little bit. You guys make me want to drink again. I'm just over a year and 3 months sober. You guys make me want to drink.
Like, I still have things I'm mad about this chat right now that I want to say right now that I'm not.
Say it all, and let it all hang out.
Seattle had a 4-game win streak, right?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like shit. That's what tomorrow morning is for. But you're going to be blackout and not make tomorrow morning, so it's just forgotten. Hey, what could just tweet it out right now? Just Twitter
tweet it out.
Tweet it all out. Let it all go. Drunk Sleaze. All right, Andrew, I know I said nice things about the other two, but you could go fuck yourself because you tried to kill me during a live stream, a charity stream. No, I'm kidding. One of my favorite people. I'm shocked that you haven't given me a dad joke yet today. So before you tell us who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, as long as you love me, I'm putting you on the fucking spot for a dad joke. Give it to me, Papa.
Where's the link at, Disco?
Well, I ate some Scrabble tiles for dinner last night. My next poop might spell disaster.
Mm.
Or
Oh,
it might
dude,
spell
oh my
medic. I don't
God.
know. But yeah, actually, I'm going the other way to disco here. I actually drank tonight for the first time in a while. Tonight's beer was 805 from Central California, using my nice Scott Fishbowl glass. And as for me, you can find me on X at Andrew Nordmeyer, or you can also look up Cardinals Uncovered on Google. I just threw the link to the most recent episode there in the main chat. So you guys can pick that up as I break down the Seattle Showdown and handicap the rest of the NFL West, NFC West, I should say. Apparently, this 805 is doing its thing. So, yeah, exactly. Beers from Suburbia. You got it, Knifey. That's right. But hey, that's who I am. That's where I am. You can find me on X, throw an at in front of my name, and that's where I am.
And shout out to Sleezball. He made a donation through the
I don't want to go to my card.
the gifted memberships because he doesn't want to get his card information. Great for you. Andrew, with the beers from Suburbia, let's fucking go. If anybody knows about suburban beers from the Alps of Caucasia, it's the Knifey Spoonie. Guys, we're at 393 viewers. I got to take a photo here because this is like 300 more than I've ever had in my entire life. And I know it's not all on YouTube, but I don't give a shit because this show rocked. The work that we put in here was absolutely phenomenal, guys. And you guys can catch us tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. And if we're not doing anything on the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel, it'll be over on Sleezball's channel. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for the show. My co-hosts, my special analyst, my expert panel. This was not possible without you guys. And yeah, if you guys are on X and you have not subscribed to the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel, it does not cost you a damn thing. Until next time, y'all, peace.
Tell your Quinion Mitchell, fly Eagles, fly in there right there.